Yes, welcome to Africa 24 TV. And today is on a Monday, that is East African time. We know that it's exactly 22:36:00 hours. And we know that today, as a country, Kenya, we have experienced a lot of rains and we are blessed. And welcome to our tonight's show. My name is Boniface Kimanzi. I'm the host today, and I'm going to make sure that you get what it is in terms of politics, and we get to brave what happened today in our entire country when it comes to political matters. And we saw a lot of things happening today. I want to give you an outline of what happened today. We saw what happened and there are a lot of demonstrations. We have doctors and nurses want to have that 7 day strike. So they are issuing a 7 day strike when it comes to government so that they can be had their grievances. We had them saying that they represented their grievances to the government and they want their grievances to be heard and they want to be taken care of because those are very important people when it comes to the country because we know that without health facilities, then definitely we are going to be a loser. So I welcome you wherever you're watching. We saw again leaders have been supporting Rigathi Gachagua. We saw what Minji, Honorable Katie Waruguru, she was saying while she was in Laikipia, she was saying that they are ready to support Rigathi Gachagua. Again, we saw leaders saying that they want to make sure that they support Rigathi Gachagua, and a lot of leaders are saying that they are going to support William Ruto come 2027. So it will be an easy game come 2027. Again, we saw leaders supporting Raila Amolo Odinga to join African AU as the chairman. Again, we saw a lot of leaders saying that they are ready to make sure that Raila Amolo Odinga goes into the AU as the chairman. We saw Prime Cabinet Secretary, that is Musalia Mudavadi, saying that he wants to make sure that Raila joins AU as the chairman, and he has already started campaigning. So those are a lot of things that happen in our country. And again, we saw what happened. We saw that Didi Nyoro, a lot of leaders are saying that they want to make sure that the next kingpin of the Mount Kenya region will be represented well. We want to know that if that is true. Again, we saw leaders are diverting. Others want to support Rigathi Gachagua, others want to support Didi Nyoro, and again, they are ready. We also saw the Hembu governor, that is Cecily Barire, saying that she wants to make sure that the Mount Kenya region is united, and she is ready to support Rigathi Gachagua. We also saw what Laikipia governor did today, and they are ready to support Rigathi Gachagua when it comes to Mount Kenya kingpin. So a lot of things happen to our country. We also saw that there are different prices that have been encroached, that we will be having different prices when it comes to IDs. So the passport, we saw that the passport, and there are a lot of changes when it comes to getting the identification cards in Kenya. We also saw President William Ruto very early in the morning today having a brief with Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and also Speaker of the National Assembly, who is Moses Wetangula, and a lot of leaders who were present in the National Assembly. And they said that the earliest bird catches the worm. That is why very early in the morning, President William Ruto held that brief in the State House, where a lot of leaders were there. So those are the things that happen in our country. Again, we saw the housing bill. People are saying it's illegal. Others are saying it's good. So it is a contrary opinions when it comes to housing bill. A lot of things have happened in our country, and we want to go direct. We also saw Kalonzo Musyoka having a brief rallies in Nakuru. We also saw him having a lot of leaders. We also saw the Kitui senator, that is Enoch Kio, saying that they are ready to support Kalonzo Musyoka come 2027. They said that they are tired. They want to make sure that the Kamba region has the leader, and they want to make sure that now it's time to change. It is time to have the Kamba leader as the president come 2027. A lot of things has happened in our country. Also saw LSK, that is the Law Society of Kenya. We saw the last day that they elected a new leaders so that they can be represented. And we also saw what the new leader has said. I will be giving you details on what happened. And without wasting time, we want to go directly to hear what happened. And we want to have a clip here. I want to play a clip here. And I welcome you wherever you're watching. This is Afrique 24, whereby you can follow us. You can even subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. This is Afrique 24, and this is a political show. I'm your host today. My name is Boniface Kimanzi, and you all know that this is Afrique, and here we exchange ideas. I welcome everyone in everywhere, whether you are in Kenya, whether you are in diaspora, whether you are in UK, any part of the world, you can be represented in this forum, and we exchange ideas, because this is where we give everyone a big platform so that he or she can share ideas, and these ideas will be heard here in Afrique 24, where we we have no discrimination, and we make sure that everything happens in the right manner. I want to give you a clip here so that we can go directly and listen to this clip. Then I will welcome you to give comments wherever you are. If you want to join our live, then you can join our live through the comments section.
All right, so the county governments will receive an additional budgetary allocation of 46.3 billion shillings after President William Ruto signed into law the county government's additional allocations bill. The funds will be deployed to finance the subsidized fertilizer program, the county aggregated industrial parks program, and construction of county headquarters in 5 counties. The funds will also be used in the provision of library services and enhancement of on-source revenue collection. Speaking at the signing ceremony at State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto says that the national government is committed to mobilizing resources and supporting the smooth operations of the counties.
Now we have resources that will support our counties. Close to 29 billion shillings will be made available by this piece of legislation that has now become law. It will support our counties to discharge their mandate, which is very clear in our constitution. And because the counties are carrying out mandate assigned to them by the constitution, and it is our responsibility to mobilize resources and support the counties. I must say that we continuously are working towards making sure that whenever we have resources, it is shared between the 2 levels of government equitably, so that every level of government can discharge their responsibilities.
Now that is President William Ruto very early in the morning today giving the prayers, and again signing 46.3 billion so that this can be distributed to the counties come financial year 2023-2024. And again, we saw that they are ready to support agriculture, because we saw that President said the money will be used in the counties, and the counties will be able to run their government and make sure that the citizens in those areas will be getting help whenever it is needed. Because President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, as they were giving their manifesto, they said that they are ready to support local farmers. They are ready to make sure that we stop importation of any food products from abroad or overseas. And that's why he said that money will be divided, and they are going to make sure that money will be used in everything that entails a human being survival. And when it comes to agriculture, they are ready to support agriculture, because we saw that they have issued a lot of money. They have reduced the prices for fertilizers. They have reduced the prices for different products so that farmers can be having a very conducive environment when it comes to making sure that they are doing well when it comes to farming and other productive areas, because we know that our country is good in productivity. They want to make sure that we get everything that entails support, and the government is ready. That's why earlier today, President William Ruto signed 46+ billions that money is going to be distributed in the year for finance year 2023-2024. What does that mean? It means that the country will be able to run smoothly, because if every county gets a certain amount of money, then that one will be used very good when it comes to governing the county. We know that after devolution, we know that devolution that came, the central government was moved to county government. That's why nowadays we have the county government headed by the governor. Now the governor is the leader of the county. For example, if we have Mombasa County, we have the governor there. The governor is the president of the county. He is the one who makes sure that everything that runs in the county is in the right order, because he is the one who manages the county. So when there is failure in the county, then definitely the governor will be questionable. And we saw that the president very early in the morning signed that bill and send that money, and governors will be able to get the money so that they can run the country. And the more specific, they are emphasizing on making sure that we make use of our products when it comes to farming. That was the speech that was given by President William Ruto. And I welcome you wherever you are. Do you think, wherever you're watching, do you think this is good for our county government? Because the financial year 2023-2024 has been having a lot of problems, but we think that maybe the counties and the central government are going to stabilize and make sure that everything is in right order, because we didn't know that today early in the morning that President William Ruto is going to give a press and sign a bill that is going to support the counties, and they are going to make sure that there is subsidy when it comes to farming and other activities. Those are some of the things that happened. And again, I have the clip here for one of our leaders here talking, so that we can
now,
discuss.
As ODM leader Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union Commission chairmanship position gathers momentum, his quest continues to attract support, especially from the Kenya Kwanza coalition leadership.
Well, speaking in Moiben in Uasin Gishu County during a funds drive, a section of Kenya Kwanza leaders said Odinga's continental role will help elevate the country's status and as well inject fresh blood into the country's opposition politics.
Support for Odinga's stab at the continental job continues to draw support from different quarters, with the government keen on supporting the former Prime Minister. While speaking in Uasin Gishu County, Kenya Kwanza leaders scaled up support for Odinga's quest, touting his credentials as fitting for the continental role.
Na sasa tumefurahi kwamba ataenda huko AU Addis Ababa, alafu aweze kutupatia nafasi, apatie the president wetu, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, nafasi kuweza kufanya kazi.
The leaders hailed Odinga's political record, terming him as a champion for democracy, thus suitable for the job, which will see him succeed Musa Faki Mahamat if he wins the elections. The lawmakers were speaking during a funds drive organized by President William Ruto's aide, Farouk Kibet.
Tumepitisha hapa saa hii chini ya Madam Speaker ya kwamba mtu ya leader of opposition hata patikana akileta mambo ya furuku ya maandamano katika Kenya hii.
Hiyo ripoti ikifika bunge, tunataka kweli hiyo mswada ingie haraka yenyewe, mtu akipata leader of opposition tupitishe kama tumefunga macho.
Odinga's bid took a notch higher after President William Ruto in the company of Odinga visited Uganda last week to seek the support of Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
Yeah, we saw leaders now, they are supporting again Raila Amolo Odinga joining AU. We have seen the Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly, that is Gladys Boschole. She is ready to support Raila Amolo Odinga so that he can join AU. We have seen a lot of leaders supporting. We have also seen bigger women rep supporting Raila Amolo Odinga joining the AU. We have been saying this very long time that Raila Amolo Odinga has this ability, and he can be a good leader when it comes to ruling the country, the continent at large, because we know that this AU chairmanship will be covering the entire continent, not only local politics when it comes to Kenya. So Raila Odinga, if he quits this local politics, definitely is going to join AU as the chairmanship, and from the support of the presidents of the entire continent, then definitely William Ruto is going to be one of the leaders who are supporting Raila Amolo Odinga when it comes to AU chairmanship. And leaders in both the UDA and the Kenya Kwanza are making sure that Raila Amolo Odinga joins the AU as the chairmanship. And as we have seen in that clip, leaders are saying that exit of Raila Amolo Odinga to join AU will give young leaders, will give other leaders who are really ready and able to take over the opposition and be the kingpin of Azimio, and will have that ability so that they can catch up and move on. Because if Raila Amolo Odinga joins, then AU, definitely there will be a gap, and that gap needs to be filled. So leaders are ready to make sure that they fill that gap, and a lot of leaders are ready so that they can acquire that position. But again, will the exit of Raila Amolo Odinga give those leaders who are able to occupy that position take over? Will they be able to take over? Will they have that capability to take over that leadership? Will they be respected when it comes to the entire country? Because we know that a leader who was there, that is Raila Amolo Odinga, if only Raila Amolo Odinga quits and joins AU, if he quits, then definitely those leaders who are going to occupy the position of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga will be able to fill the shoes and make sure anything that was done by Raila Amolo Odinga, they too, they are going to make sure that they run that political party in the smooth way. So leaders have been saying that the support will be very huge. We have seen Musalia Mudavadi, that is the Prime Cabinet Secretary. We saw that for the last year, before the election, Raila Amolo Odinga had support from Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is Moses Wetangula. They were loyal supporters when it comes to Azimio, but towards the election, they quitted the Azimio Party coalition and joined UDA. Maybe they thought that the UDA is going to win, and definitely UDA won the election. So they were on the safe side. Maybe they were able to detect that this UDA headed by William Samoei Ruto is going to win the election. And that was very good, because if you can detect that you're going to win the election, then definitely you're going to move to the right direction. And they believe that they moved into the right direction, because now we have Prime Cabinet Secretary, who is Musalia Mudavadi. After joining UDA, now we have him as the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and also Moses Wetangula, Moses Masika Wetangula, who was the senator, he joined, and now he is the Speaker of the National Assembly. So leaders are supporting. We saw what was happening today. Musalia Mudavadi was giving support. He has already started campaigning for Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga so that he can join AU as the chairmanship. So those are the things that happened. As you see, Gladys Boshule, she is ready, and she has said that she has that doubt that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to join and give young leaders who can occupy their position for Azimio so that they can take over. The reason they think that is because if Raila Amolo Odinga joins AU, then definitely there will be a replacement. And who is going to be the replacement? Someone who can be like Raila Amolo Odinga. And again, many things happen. If he has support from those leaders, then definitely Raila will be having a less competition when it comes to AU chairmanship.
Kwingineko ni kwamba Rais William Ruto ameidhinisha sheria ya mgao wa ziada wa serikali za kaunti wa shilingi bilioni 46.3 kwa mwaka wa fedha wa 2023-2024. Akitia saini sheria hiyo, Rais Ruto amesema kuwa hatua hiyo inalenga kuhakikisha ugavi sawa wa rasilimali ili kuwawezesha serikali za kaunti kutoa huduma bora kwa wananchi. Shilingi bilioni 5 za mgao huo zitatumika kwenye mpango wa mbolea ya ruzuku, huku shilingi bilioni 4.5 zikitengewa kaunti 18 kwa mradi wa bustani za viwanda, ambapo kila kaunti itapata shilingi milioni 250. Aidha, shilingi milioni 454 zitatolewa kwa kaunti 5 kufanikisha ujenzi wa afisi za kaunti.
Our counties, close to 29 billion shillings will be made available by this piece of legislation that has now become law. It will support our counties to discharge their mandate, which is very clear in our constitution. And because the counties are carrying out mandate assigned to them by the constitution, and it is our responsibility to mobilize resources and support the counties. I must say that we continuously are working towards making sure that whenever we have resources, it is shared between the two levels of government equitably so that every level of government can discharge their responsibilities.
Yeah, President is saying they want to make sure that we utilize. They want to make sure that we make sure that resources that are available in counties, we know that different counties have different resources. So they want to make sure that if the county has a lot of natural resources, the human resource, natural resources, they are going to be exploited in the right way. And that's why earlier today he signed that money so that counties can be stabilized and they can make sure that they run the county government in the right way. And that was Right Honorable William Samoei Ruto with the President of the Republic of Kenya, saying that they want to make sure that we utilize the resources. And we know that several counties, we have seen northeastern Kenya, we saw Turkana having a lot of coal. So if it is Turkana County to exploit those resources and make sure that they have been utilized in the right way, because if there's no money, then how are they going to utilize, exploit the resources? So that is the question that was being answered by President earlier today when he was addressing the nation by signing that money so that it can go to the finance year 2023-2024. And this is Africa 24 today. We're having a lot of things to discuss, and I welcome you wherever you are, because here we discuss everything when it comes to politics and when it comes to the country and the entire world. Because if here you can join us, then you can make sure that you join our show. And here is the link. You can tap the link, then join in my studio so that you can get a lot of information. Here you can join me so that you can discuss. That is the link that you can join. You can join me in the studio so that we can share ideas, because it is here where we give everyone ideas to be heard. Because if the ideas are here, then definitely we are going to be being on the right position. This is Africa 24, and I want to share with you a brief of what we do and what you can get when it comes to Africa 24, because here it is where we give every idea. So in every Friday we have this show. One of the best shows in Africa 24 is going to be heard every Friday from 8 p.m. East African time. So are you having problems when it comes to your marriage? Are you having problems when it comes to dealing with your partner? Here is where we solve those things. Are you having a lot of challenges when it comes to getting married? Here is where you're going to get the best advice and the best ideas when it comes to Africa 24.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru. Bed of Roses promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.
Yes, that is Bed of Roses. And Bed of Roses is where we share a lot of things. That is a very good show. And if you want to make sure we get your ideas, then join into Bed of Roses, and we can assure you that there you are going to be educated. Because if you have any problems when it comes to bed matters, then it is in applicable for a channel whereby we can share those ideas, and we air it every Friday from 8 p.m. that is East African time up to a period of 3 hours, and that is going to be a good time so that you can exchange ideas and share what we can have so that we can make things go smooth when it comes to bed matters. So we saw Kalonzo Musyoka has now started moving around. Kalonzo Musyoka has now started going all over, because we have seen a lot of Kenyans saying that they want to know who is Kalonzo Musyoka. They want to make sure that they know who is Kalonzo Musyoka. They want to know his manifest. They want to know the kind of methodology is going to ensure when it comes to 2027 so that he can win the election. They want to know if Kalonzo wins the election, then how is he going to make sure that the country runs smoothly? So we have seen him in Nakuru and parts of Nakuru, and a lot of leaders accompanied him, even from the Kamba regions. We have seen Senator Kiyo accompany him, and a lot of leaders who come from that Wiper democratic movement. And again, Kalonzo now has smelled that it is high time that he moves from north to south, east to west, and every part of the country, so that he can be discussing with the entire citizens. Now, Kenyans want to know, what will you offer if you become the president come 2027, if he is voted as the president of Kenya? A lot of people have been questioning if Kalonzo can be the best president come 2027 to compete with UDA party leader, who is William Ruto, and is the currently president of the Republic of Kenya. So I want to play a clip here where Kalonzo was involved, and a lot of leaders who were accompanying him, so that you can come back as I give you a glimpse of what happened.
Kumbukeni wakati mimi nilikuwa makamu wa Kibaki, uchumi wa Kenya ulikuwa marudufu, lakini sasa tulikuja watu wakadanganywa, wakaambiwa kwamba mkituchagua vijana mtapata kazi, bodaboda mtapata zingine hata za sitima. Mumeona bodaboda ya sitima huku? Wangapi wananisikia? Asante. Kwa hivyo tunasema siasa za udanganyifu zimefika kikomo, na tumekuja kuambieni bado kuna hope, kuna tumaini. Matumaini ni kwamba sisi wanaazimio la umoja wa Kenya tuko sawa. Ingawaje umesikia Raila anaenda kufanya kazi huko Addis Ababa, bado sisi tuko, ama sivyo? Ama sivyo? Wakisema baba anaenda, msema Angostivo bado yuko. Tena mnayo wakati anasema Angostivo yuko. Na mjue sisi kama mkoa wetu wa Mashariki, kutoka Isiolo, Marsabit, Embu, Meru, Makueni, Kitui, Machakos, ndiyo ilikuwa Eastern Province. Wakati wazee kama Jeremiah Nyaga walikuweko, ndio walitufunza kazi. Kusema kweli, kama sio siasa ya ukabila, Nyaga angekuwa hata president wa Kenya. Lakini wakati umefika, pengine mkijitahidi, watu wa Eastern Province mnaweza kutoa mmoja wenu mkasongesha mbele. Mko tayari? Mko tayari? Wangapi wako tayari? Alafu kama hiyo tunafanya kutoa ushuru ndio ujengee watu wengine manyumba, na hiyo manyumba sio ati utapata automatic, hajulikani. Ni watu wanapokonya, wanarokota pesa zetu, pesa za raia ambao hawana kazi, pesa za raia ambao wanajaribu amba hata kujimudu kimaisha. Kwa hivyo tumekuja kuambia kwamba bado tuko, hata kama baba anaenda Addis Ababa, kina Wamala, kina Kalonzo, kina Mwangi wa Iria tuko. Na tunataka mjue kwamba vile tunawaona hapa, tunataka turudi wakati kwanza tuambie, mjue kwamba maandamano haki yetu. Mnasikia wananchi waliandamana Nairobi, mimi na Eugene karibu tuliuawa. Raila alipigwa risasi 9. Na huku yule Raila alikuwa amesema yeye ni mganga, sasa wameshikamana na Ruto. Gachagua amebaki peke yake huku. Unasikia? Gachagua alikuwa akisema Raila akienda Ikulu atatoa suruali ya ndani aweke juu kwa kichwa. Wangapi wanataka kuombea huyo jamaa ili aliwe na siasa ya Kenya? Kwa hivyo tunafurahi zaidi. Wangapi wako tayari kujiunga na Azimio ndio tumalize ukabila Kenya hii? Wangapi? Asanteni, ngoja mnajua
Uncle Steve Kalonzo Musyoka, as he calls himself that he is the uncle. Then he has talked about a lot of things, and here he has said that this housing bill that they want to make it use so that they can get money from the local citizens who even doesn't have money. Again, he has said that Azimio, even if Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga joins his AU, Azimio is going to be still firm, because he has said they are there. Uncle Steve Wamalwa is there, Martha Karua is there, so they believe that they can fill the position very well and perfectly. That position that was occupied by Raila Amolo Odinga. So Kalonzo Musyoka has said that people were cheated. They lied to us that they are going to make a country of Kenya to be highly technologized. Yes, is high technology being introduced to the country? Because they promised us that they are going to introduce the electric bikes. Electric bikes, electric bikes. And electric bikes, if you have the motorbike that is electrically run, is that one going to be applied to places whereby we don't have internet or power? Because it has to be run by electricity. Because if you don't have electricity, then how are we going to operate those bikes? So this one will be only advantageous when it comes to the most cities, that is Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, and the other parts whereby power is steady. Because we can consider some parts of the country run into power blackouts, and that can be a challenge. Because if, for example, you had a customer and that battery run is cut short because of power, then how are you going to recharge it? And you are in remote areas. So it has some advantages and disadvantages. And Kalonzo is saying that a lot of manifesto and a lot of promises that the government, that is ruling government now, gave to citizens, that is Kenyans, is not in the right way, because they are not believing them. Because he is saying the housing bill number one is being used as one way so that it can make the Kenyans occupy the houses. But again, the houses, how are you going to get it if you don't have the money? Because there is a certain amount of money that you're going to pay so that you can get the house. There is some rules that you're going to follow so that you can get the house. So Kenyans are asking a lot of questions, and rhetorically they want to know if they can get the houses. And Kalonzo Musyoka is saying that walitudanganya kama watatusaidia, lakini bado hawajatusaidia. Wanatumia ile housing kutunyang'anya pesa. That was saying that was made by Right Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, who is the leader of Wiper Democratic Movement, and he was saying that despite Raila Amolo Odinga being linked to AU as the chairman, then he is going to make sure that him as the Uncle Steve, that is going to make sure that he acts as the replacement, and the likes of Martha Karua, the likes of Eugene Wamalwa, they can make sure that they can replace and make that party go on well, smoothly, because they have the powers and capabilities to rule and make sure that Azimio government runs smoothly. But again, the question is, are they able to make sure that they can mobilize Kenyans as the way Raila Amolo Odinga did? Because we saw that Raila Amolo Odinga has been doing perfect job. He is the one who can call for maandamano, because anyone else can call for maandamano, but are Kenyans going to obey? We saw what happened last year after the high cost of living was very high. There were a lot of complaints from the citizens that they are not being favored when it comes to this government. This government is favoring only those who are rich and only those who have that ability to provide for themselves in a daily basis. And again, after that, Raila Amolo Odinga called for maandamano Kenyans in the whole country obeyed, yet he is not the president. So there is a difference between a people's president and a president of the Republic of Kenya. We know that Raila Amolo Odinga is the people's president because anyone else can tell you we have Raila Amolo Odinga in this country. Yet anyone who is going to replace him, is he or she going to make sure that he makes that position continue the way it has been always been. So that was Kalonzo Musyoka, and to be sure, if Kalonzo Musyoka is going to be the next king when it comes to Azimio, then who will be the running mate for Kalonzo Musyoka? So wherever you're watching, if you're watching this is Afrique 24 and you have all your ideas, then I welcome you to join this Afrique 24, and I'm very sure that you're going to enjoy. And we have seen leaders complaining. We have seen the former president saying that the government, what it promised to Kenyans, they are now steering our country into the dustbin. I don't know what was the reference, but again, we have seen today that very early in the morning, President William Ruto said that they are going to make sure that the country runs smoothly. So what
I would have liked
are
to
they
know
planning?
from Mr. De
So
Klerk,
that was if only.
who was disciplined when 8 million of taxpayers' money was given to Inkatha Freedom Party? That was in July 1991. Who was disciplined? These vague statements are counterproductive because they lead to the conclusion that Mr. De Klerk is less than frank in making important statements on national issues. But I want to say that various points of view have been expressed here. I wanted to assure you that on the 27th of April, you will make your choice. And I don't doubt what it is going to be.
You will make your choice. I want to ask if Kenyans made the right choice. And that is the questions that I want to pose here. Did the Kenyans make the right choice when it comes to a general election last year, but 2022? Because that was the time Kenyans, there was a lot of questions that were raised that was those time. Flashback, I want to take you back. That was the year 2022. By the start of January 2022, there were a lot of eyebrows that Kenyans were raising that in whose hands are we safe? Because that was the question that was moving all around. In whose hands are we safe? Between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto. So that was the question. Are we going to vote for Raila Amolo Odinga or William Ruto? And at the end of the election, that was 8th August 2022, Kenyans made their choice. So that was a flashback. Kenyans made their choice that they voted for UDA, that is the United Democratic Alliance. So they voted for UDA, and the UDA is now the current party that is leading. So are we safe in the hands of UDA? Are we safe? And that is the big question, because from the safety now, it is where Kenyans can give ideas if the country is moving on well, and if the country is pioneering to the right direction. And if the country now is in the right direction, the question is, are we safe? The right choice was made. That is August 2022. And are we safe? That is the question, because we have seen President today giving money so that the counties can make sure they can exploit the natural resources, and to make sure that the counties move on well, because now we have we have devolutions. Devolution was introduced because we have the new constitution that made sure that devolution is there. So today, President signed 46.3 billion so that he can go to the counties so that we can exploit resources. I want to welcome you wherever you are. Good year has been our loyal follower, and he has been supporting Afrique 24 in every situation. And I want to salute you, Good year, because you have been doing a very good job when it comes to Afrique 24. And he has a comment here, and he's saying politics in Kenya has become cat and mouse game between politicians and the normal public. We know that politics is a mind game, and when it comes to politics, there is this idea whereby if you are a politician, you need to make sure that you don't get attached to feelings, because you have to play everything in the right way. Because we have seen things happening, because we saw what happened to the relationship between Raila Amolo Odinga. We saw during the election, there were a lot of differences when it comes to Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto, who is the current president when it comes to this Republic of Kenya. They were having a lot of differences during campaigns, but after the elections, again, there were differences. But in the last 3 days, 2 weeks, we saw what happened. Those guys met. I think they were having some murisik, some murisik. So they were having a discussion with one of the oldest presidents, that is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and they believe that that is a kingpin of East Africa, because he has been there for a long time. Some of the young boys and girls who were born in the year 2000, they were born while Yoweri Museveni was still and the president serving for the Republic of Uganda. So I agree with the good year that this one is a mouse game whereby you run after the other and you run after the other. And that one is a merry-go-round, because I think these guys, they don't have those feelings, because when they meet, they talk something that is sensitive and they don't get into a disagreement. That's why we need to make our country move on well. And after they met, then they made sure that they align things in the right order. I want to welcome Ramesu Yegon and Crest. This one guy, he has been our loyal follower and he has been making sure that he contributes. And Ramesu Yegon, I want to welcome you to our comment. You can join me in the studio so that you can discuss and give ideas directly. This is the link you can join. If you join, then definitely you're going to get into the studio and be one of us. He is saying, I want to read a comment from Goodia. Goodia saying this one is a mind game, and the politicians, the difference between politicians and the normal public will always exist, because public believe that these guys, whenever they have those praises when they are in campaigns, they are keeping them in the hearts. But again, these guys only do this for getting the attention of people. But when they meet together, they talk in the nice and polite way. Ramesu Yegon is saying, I want to read a comment from Ramesu Yegon, because I played a clip whereby our one of the president of South Africa, the late Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, you are saying the decision we are going to make it, and I wanted to reflect to our Kenya, because we made a decision August 2022, and are we safe since we chose the UDA as the current government? He's saying, Ramesu Yegon is saying Mandela failure to redistribute land has resulted in a situation where the white population owns over 70% of the land in South Africa, leaving the native population in a state of poverty. But again, Ramesu Yegon, you know that South Africa is one of the developed countries. When you compare South Africa with Kenya, then definitely you can see that we have a lot of differences when it comes to those two countries, because South Africa is a developed country, and they have a lot of resources, and they are exploiting them in the right way. And we have seen them making sure that they improve in every dimension, because we saw them hosting up, that is World Cup that is the year 2010. And for a country to host the World Cup, it needs to be developed, because there they consider a lot of things, roads, social amenities, they consider everything else, because that is a world event whereby you need to be a very strong country and stable when it comes to hosting that. But I think Nelson Mandela, South Africa is one of the latest countries to achieve independence. That was in the year 1990. fought. So they were colonized, and after Kenya got independence earlier, very early, because we had a lot of leaders who fought for our independence. And South Africa, despite Nelson Mandela being jailed, being detained, then he came back and made sure that South Africa are freed. But again, when you compare our country and South Africa, then you can see that our country is far much beyond when it comes to South Africa. Despite in every country we always have those loops, and South Africa is doing unwell. And that was Ramesi gone. He's saying Nelson Mandela failed the native South Africans. Nelson Mandela is a leader to be remembered because of the legacy that he left. He was fighting for the independence of South Africa, and definitely they won and they got their independence. Goodyear is saying Kenya right now is not as safe in anyone's hands. People are thinking about Raila because he promised people a lot of things. Maybe NG, every household will get 6,000 shillings every month. That was a good year, and I believe this is true. Very true, because a lot of Kenyans believed when Raila Amolo Odinga will become the president of Kenya, then definitely they are going to make sure that they have 6,000 shillings daily. That was so good, because Kenyans wanted to get those 6,000 every month, because if you have the 6,000, Kenyans believe that they can be making sure that they get the basic needs, because Raila Amolo Odinga, whenever he was having the campaigns, he promised Kenyans that he's going to make sure that anything that happens in the country is going to be run in the right direction. But unfortunately, they lost in the general election. So Kenyans thought that they will be getting 6,000 shillings every month. Yani, you're just chilling in your home, you're just having a good time, not working, but at the end of the month, you have 6,000 in your M-Pesa or in your bank. That was one of the things that made Kenyans to regret and say that they thought they can vote for the Azimio Party coalition Raila. And we know that Goody is saying Kenya is not in the safe hands. Kenya right now is not safe in anyone's hands. That one is a comment from one of our followers, and he's saying Kenya is not in the safe hands. So I don't think so. And that was a comment, but he's saying hey, Kenya needs to upgrade. He's saying Kenya needs to make sure that they make use of all things so that Kenyans can feel that they are in the safe hands, because everyone wants to be in the safest hands. Because whenever you do things, you want to make sure that you run in the right direction. But again, we have seen President William Ruto trying. President William Ruto is trying to make sure that everything runs in the right direction. But again, are we safe in the hands of President William Ruto? Because he's the current president of the Republic of Kenya. So we have seen him doing a lot of things. He's trying to make sure that we compensate the high cost of living, but again, the relationship between him and the county government is trying to improve, because we saw what happened today, and they are trying to come together with the kingpin of Azimio so that they can make use and make the country move on smoothly. Because if there is opposition, then definitely the country will be having a lot of problems. And we want to make sure that the country moves in the right directions, because it is only by this that we are going to be assured that we are in the right direction. And again, we saw new IDs will cost 300 shillings. We saw today there is a new price for identification cards and passports, and a lot of changes have happened. Kenyans are questioning whether this one is going to affect them in one way or the other, because we know that Kenyans always ask questions so that they can be assured that this thing they are doing is not going to affect them. And I want to give you some clips here so that we can back and discuss them and know if this is true or not.
Turejee hapa Nairobi ambapo madaktari nchini wametoa ilani ya siku 7 ya mgomo wa kitaifa endapo serikali haitatekeleza matakwa yao. Chama cha MPDU na wahudumu wengine wa afya wamefanya maandamano ya amani wakilalamikia miongoni mwa mambo mengine kujeruhiwa kwa katibu wake mkuu Daktari Davji Atela. Wahudumu hawa wakishinikiza kutekelezwa kwa mkataba wa kuajiri madaktari wanafunzi kama anavyotuarifu Mary Mwoki.
Mamia ya wahudumu wa afya Jumatatu walifanya maandamano ya amani jijini Nairobi wakilalamikia miongoni mwa mengine kucheleweshwa kutumwa kwa madaktari wanafunzi na vilevile ukiukaji wa makubaliano yaliyofanyika mjini Kericho. Wahudumu wakianza maandamano Upper Hill hadi Wizara ya Afya, Bunge la Kitaifa na mwishowe ofisi za Hazina Kuu.
We will not sit back and watch the healthcare of this nation go down due to incompetencies of a few people. We are going to give a strike notice starting today, a 7-day strike notice that will culminate in shutdown from Sunday midnight.
We know that KMPDO from Monday next week wanaenda strike. Na sisi wengine, kama within 14 days the CBS will not have been concluded, we shall also be joining in. We are going to paralyze the health sector in this country.
Madaktari hawa wakiwasilisha malalamishi yao kwa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya afya katika bunge la kitaifa Robert Pukose, aliahidi kuwasilisha swala hilo mbele ya kamati yake Jumanne.
About posting of intern doctors, I think it has taken the ministry very long, and the ministry has not been responsive to your issues. And with that, on that case, we will take it up the matter. You've brought your petition. It will be appearing before the petitions committee, but as the chair of health, we'll make sure that we are able to follow up with that petition and see to it as soon as it is read tomorrow.
Na tunauliza kwa sababu sisi ni serikali. Nataka ku-apologize on behalf of the government, lakini na kuminja. Lazima apologize on behalf of the ministry.
Mbali na swala hili, wahudumu wa afya walikerwa na hatua ya hivi majuzi ambapo wenzao walijeruhiwa kwenye maandamano sawa na haya.
Sadly, the peaceful demonstration was met with unnecessary violence. 25 doctors were hurt in the stampede, but worst of all, our SG was shot in the head. For every one Davji they touch, 1,000 more Davjis shall rise.
Kwa sasa, wahudumu hawa wameapa kutatiza huduma na kuanza mgomo Jumatatu ijayo endapo matakwa yao hayatashughulikiwa. Mary Mwoki, runinga ya...
That is one of things that has raised a lot of eyebrows, because we know that our country, if a country is lacking health facilities or the doctors are on a strike, then definitely we are going to face a lot of deaths and a lot of things are going to happen, because we know that human health is very important. So the government trying to lose focus when it comes to health and other things, because we have seen the CEO saying that the deputy leader saying that Ms. Keller saying that they have been neglected and they are serving as one of the biggest areas where our country has to focus on, because health facilities need to be utilized, they need to be taken care of, because if we don't have health facilities, then definitely we're going to be having a lot of problems. As we know that diseases come out every day, children are given birth every day. If there's no doctors and if the doctors are on a strike, then the country will be in a total mess. So those doctors have issued a 7-day strike. And if that strikes happen, then definitely the country will be facing a lot of problems. So the government now focusing on other things like housing bill and leaving the doctors. We know that health facilities and the social amenities are one of the big areas that need to be considered, because the country needs to have citizens. Because if the citizens have not ability to move on, they have no energy. Then doctors, if we have diseases, then those doctors are the one who are responsible to make sure that they maintain health of the country. So that is one of the big topics that have raised a lot of antennae. Antennae are on. If these doctors are going on strike, then what will happen to our country if doctors go on strike? So good years here is saying Raila and Ruto working together, they are in the same pot. Why did Ruto's right aunt Aisha Juma Katana meet Raila in Capital Hill? Things are brewing behind the scenes too. No wonder DP Kashagua is frozen. Yeah, good year. That is a good comment, and we know that DP Rigathi Gachagua today said that he is ready to work with Raila Amolo Odinga if only he is incorporated in the government. But again, I don't believe that one is true because last 2 days he said that he is not ready to support anyone else going to feature in the government because he complained Raila Amolo Odinga has been this to the previous government and he has been to Kibaki's government, and he believed that he is the one who made sure that the government goes astray. So that was the comment from the DP, Rigathi Gachagua. And we know that things happen behind the scenes. We don't know what happens definitely, but the Roman side that things that happen when it comes to politics, you cannot go having them in mind anytime because these leaders, whenever they meet, they talk and they make sure everything that they talk is in a secret way because we saw those two guys meeting, Raila and Ruto, and we have seen that in the last few months they have been so having a lot of differences. But again, the question is what is being cooked behind the scenes that Kenyans don't know. But again, as Goodyear has said, that the things will come out later if only they bring on board what they want and once they make them stay in the right way. Regarding Gachagua, we have seen Laikipia leaders saying that they're going to fully support Rigathi Gachagua as the next kingpin when it comes to Mount Kenya region. We have also seen Cecil Baril saying that she is ready to support Rigathi Gachagua. Minji, Honorable Katie Waruguru, said that she is ready to support Rigathi Gachagua. And other leaders are saying that they are not going to focus with Didi Nyoro because there is a competition between who is going to be the next king, because there is an eruption when it comes to Mount Kenya region. People are trying to focus on who is going to be the next king because in the year 2002, the late President Mwai Kibaki was there until 2013, whereby the next president took over, and he was the Kikuyu leader, who was the former president now, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He took over the leadership now. In 2027 and 2032, they want to make sure that they get the next king. But again, are we going to always be relying on the one tribe when it comes to presidency? Because William Ruto believed that he can be able to make changes, and he penetrated in between them and he won the election. That was a change of dynasty, and people were feeling good because they thought the change of tribalistic. Then we have seen Kalenjins and Kikuyus are dominating this seat of president. I want to read the comment here, and Oski is saying, I think we should just accept that in Africa, we are born to live undeveloped and poor. It is not just Kenya, the entire continent has the same problem. It is what God. Oski don't have that mentality because if you have that mentality, then you're not going to move on because we try. Personally, I believe that by trying is only the way that you are going to get exposure to opportunities and you're going to win, because by risk, you cannot live by not risking. By risking is what you are going to discover new challenges and ideas. And Africa, entirely Africa has been having a lot of problems, because we know that Africa, people during those colonial times when Africa was dark, Africa was dark continent when it comes to earlier days, and people referred to Africa as Zenj. It was a country whereby resources were unexploited. That's why the missionaries came to exploit resources. The likes of Ludwig the likes of Dr. William Macnon, they came to exploit, and we also have the explorers and the missionaries. So those times, those British men called us the Zenj, black people, because they came here and they discovered these are human beings, but they are just living. But again, we eliminated that mentality and we started building our continent. Now we have our continent moving on well, and we have countries that are developing, because we have South Africa. South Africa is doing well, because whenever you are in Cape Regis, South Africa, whenever you are in Drakensberg, you can see a lot of changes. When you move towards the West African region, that is Atlantic Ocean, you move to equatorial regions, whereby we have the Ghana, we have the Ivory Coast. Recently, we've seen what was happening in Ivory Coast. We were hosting the AFCON 2023, whereby a lot of countries converged in Africa Cup of Nations, that is Ivory Coast. What does that show? It shows that countries in Africa have started developing, because you cannot host Africa Cup of Nations if you do not have qualified stadiums that can be hosting AFCON and other finals. So we move again to Ghana, Nigeria. We move to the North Africa, whereby we have Morocco. We also have Algeria. We also have Tunisia, and also the Egypt. And those are the countries that are trying to develop. And despite the continent being so poor, we have a lot of resources, because as you move to West Africa, where we have Nigeria, we know that Nigeria has a lot of resources. We know Ghana, that is where we get the cocoa. So a country, the whole continent has a lot of resources, and we discovered that we have resources, and these resources can be exploited and be made in use. When it comes to Kenya, we have a lot of resources. We have diatomite, we have also gold in parts of Viga. We also have fluorspar. We also have sand. We have a lot of resources. We exploited the Indian Ocean. We have a lot of resources there, and we are having tourists coming from all over the world when it comes to seasons, and to be specific, summer, so that they can enjoy the climate of Mombasa region. So I don't believe that we have that mentality that we are born to be a poor country. We are not a poor country. I think the God blessed us with a lot of resources, because when you focus to the country, it itself, our country has a lot of resources. We know that we have everything, and the only problem is how we exploit the resources, how we exploit those resources found in remote and even in urban centers. But we have seen government trying to make sure that they utilize those resources, because we have tourist attraction sites, whereby we have the national parks, and the national parks are getting a lot of bringing a lot of incomes. Tourists are moving all over the world so that they can come to see our animals, and that one brings income. So we are blessed, but we are not that poor. That was a comment from Aski. Good year is saying, why should we pay health insurance while we don't get the proper medical treatment? I want to repeat this again. Why should we pay health insurance while we don't get the proper medical treatment? Doing medicine is a calling. Doctors should not strike but sit around the table and talk. We know that there are some passions, that there are some field, there are some careers that needs a lot of passion, and we know that being a doctor is one of the toughest career, because you need to be dedicated to what you do, because being a doctor needs to be one of the toughest things everyone faces. But again, you need to have that passion. You need to have that inner feeling that I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a nurse, then I'm going to handle every Kenyan. I'm going to handle every human being because I am the saver, life saver of a human being. So why are we going paying health insurance? We know that the NHIF, NHIF, the NSSF, those things now they have been increased. Now the local Kenyan earning at around 30,000 is going to pay someone earning 20,000 pays of 1,200 Kenyan shillings when it comes to NHF and NSSF. So we are paying them, but again, we don't get proper treatment. That is a question that was posed by Good Ear. She's saying that we're getting those things, but we're paying those health insurance. But again, proper medical treatment is not being given. When you go to hospitals, there is not some hospitals lack oxygen. We got that some hospitals lack medicine. Some hospitals don't have even some facilities. So Kenyans are complaining that we pay those health insurance, but again, the treatment is not up to the maximum. Kenyans want to know where does that money goes, because if we get the money and we pay, then where does it go? So again, she's saying doing medicine is calling. Yeah, this one is a career that needs a lot of dedication, and you need to have a passion when you're doing the medicine, because I believe handling people is one of the toughest thing, because here you're going to meet any person of different caliber. Then you need to incorporate him and him or her and make sure that you handle him in the right way, because you are going to meet pregnant women, you are going to meet people from casualties, you are going to meet people from accidents, you are going to meet people from different areas. You're going to meet someone who is having diabetes. Then you need to handle this person in the right way, because you are a medical practitioner. Then you are trained on how to make him feel that he is wanted, because you're going to meet a lot of people. Some people have a lot of diseases. Nowadays, we have diseases everywhere. So you need to be a good person who can be able to serve the community, because I believe serving the country by being a doctor is one of the things that makes the country move on well. Because if the citizens are not getting the proper medical treatment, then how are we going to survive? Because we know that without good health, there is nothing you can do. Even this conversation we are having here, without a good health, you cannot even type a comment. Without a good health, you have a problem. You cannot withstand even a short wave. So good health is one of key things. They say that if you're blessed with good health, then that is the greatest wealth you can ever have. So that is a question, and I need you to ask to answer. So Ramesh Igon is saying the phrase dark continent was used as a racial slur by Europeans. Africa was not a dark continent. Oh, that is a comment from Ramesh Igon. He is saying this one was used as a racial slur by Europeans, and we know that Europeans colonized Africa and they came to occupy regions. We know that Kenyans were colonized by British, and we saw what happened during British colonialization time. We saw the Mau Mau. We saw the leaders likes of Mekatilili Wameza. We know that every community had those leaders who represented them and who fought for their tribes. So we saw the Griamas, for example, were led by Mekatilili Wameza. We also saw the Mau Mau region. Mau Mau was headed by Field Marshal Muthoni, Dedan Kimathi were the leaders who were leading the Mau Mau. So what is the problem? We know that those Europeans, when they came to Africa, they occupied Africa and they wanted to divide Africa, and they are the one who set those boundaries. That's why now we have Kenya and Tanzania, Uganda, and we saw those guys, the Europeans, when they came to East Africa, they discovered that our Africa continent has a lot of resources. So they came to explore. After the exploration, then they came to colonize, because after they explored, then they found that this continent has a lot of resources, and we need to put them in use. because if we get them in use, then definitely we are going to be occupying this region. So that's where colonization came, and they were very racist. We saw they were taking us as slaves. A lot of countries were colonized, but except Ethiopia and Liberia. We know that Ethiopia was not colonized because they had a very strong army. Ethiopia is believed to be a country that has a strong army. Liberia was not colonized because it was used as a home of slaves. So the slaves that were collected in West Africa, for example, Ghana, Algeria, Nigeria, Cameroon, they were taken to Liberia. So it was a home of slaves, and they used Kenyans, Africans as slaves. Africans were used to work in plantations. Africans were used to work in every area whereby it was involved a human labor, and the human labor was exploited in the wrong way. That's why we have Europeans who came into Africa, and they refer to us as dark continent, but again, they exploited us in the wrong way, and that's why we always believe that colonization took our time. Goodyear is saying Africa, we Africans try, but the colonizers are still around invisibly controlling our presidents. That is a comment from our followers. Is saying Africans try, Kenyans and other countries in Africa try, but the problem is colonizers are still invisibly. You cannot see them, but they are acting, they are taking place in controlling the government and the president. We saw that a lot of leaders involve the European countries, presidents, so that they can make a decision. We saw there is a law that was being passed that we have the LTB, LGBTQ, whereby we need to make that one a law, and a lot of leaders consulted from the USA and other parts. But again, we saw what happened in Uganda. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni declined that, and he gave a very stunning warning that anyone who is being caught doing those things, then definitely is going to be jailed and is going to be facing a very difficult punishment. So leaders consult European countries so that they can. The Africans still don't believe themselves that they can make a decision that can be of importance and be in use without even consultation from abroad and those European countries. So that one is true, and I agree with the Goodyear that these colonizers are still invisible. And as you go, for example, you are in Kenya and you see what's happening, you know that when you are in Kenya, for example, you go to places like where we have human labor being used, like where we have construction, then you will definitely find that those people who are managing the architects now come from European countries. Why? Why do we believe in ourselves? Why do we believe that we can be good when it comes to engineering? We don't even believe that we can be good engineers and we can make roads to be up to standard, because we believe that those guys from Europe are the ones who can be having those abilities. So it is invisibly controlling our presidents and even the entire continent. Because when you go to Tanzania, when you go to Uganda, when you go to South Africa, when you go to Egypt, then you will find these guys having a conversation there. Ramesh Suyegoni is saying Europeans came to Africa because they were poor and lacked resources. So they sought to exploit Africa to establish themselves. So he's saying they came so that they can exploit Africa to establish themselves. We know that Africa is one of the continents that is rich in resources. And the only problem that developed is that Africans were not able to exploit these resources. Because then if we had, for example, a diamond, then how would us get into exploiting the diamond, yet we don't have the right tools and skills to exploit those resources? In one way or the other, we depended on those Europeans, but again, when they came, they took the advantage and took over as the leaders and they colonized our country. But again, we Africa, we are very blessed with a lot of resources, and we know that the entire African continent is very blessed when it comes to resources. Ramisi again is saying Europe became wealthy by profiting from resources of other regions, as it did not have an abundance of resources within its borders. We know that Europe, it has resources, but it is not up to maximum when it comes to Africa. We know Africa is one of the continents that is having a lot of resources. We know, for example, Kenya, we have a lot of natural resources. Either human, we also have every resource because you have the human labor. We can get it from Africa. We can get minerals from Africa. You can also get crops, products from Africa. Africa is having seasons whereby we have the summer, winter, and the autumn. Those seasons, they give us money because during the summer, then those tourists come to the Africa so that they can watch beautiful sceneries. They can enjoy the hot climate, because we know that when it comes to Europe, then that is due to geographical location. They are in the Arctic. You know, we have Arctic, Antarctic, and when it comes to Arctic, then those countries are very cold. You know, something that is very cold. That is why whenever you are watching football, you see them wearing clothes even in daytime, because they believe that and it is very cold. So Africa is blessed, and we know that a lot of resources are there, but the only problem is how we could exploit them. So Europe became wealthy by profiting the resources of other regions. Yeah, they exploited them and they exported them to their country. Through this exportation, then they got an advantage and they won at the hearts of Africa. And up to today, still Africans believe that those Europeans can be able to exploit. Africans need to develop that high self-esteem. Goodyear is saying Boniface, most doctors and specialists have left Kenya and gone for green pastures elsewhere. And that's why we don't have enough of doctors and specialists. Having equipment will need money. Yeah, we have seen, personally, I have more than 7 friends who are doctors, and they are working in abroad. Yes, we know that when it comes to these medical practitioners, they want to make sure that they exploit and give their best. So they have gone to European countries. I have 3 doctors who are working in Germany. So they wanted to get more money. So they went to look for greener pastures. And I have 3 neurosurgeons who are based in Australia. So most doctors and those who are in medical practitioner went to abroad so that they can get money. But we know that they think that the country is not able to provide them with good care, because we know that this is a very good area whereby this area and medical practitioners, they need to be taken care, because they are the lifesavers. They are those who make sure that anything that happens to the country, because we saw lastly what happened in Embakasi. A lot of we saw what happened in Embakasi, that a lot of leaders there complained about that fire incident, whereby people were having those casualties, and they ran to hospitals, because it is only by these incidents whereby people went to doctors. If we had no doctors, then how could we save the lives of those young people? People were suffering, and again, people who were affected by the fire, they went to doctors. So medical practitioners are one of the key areas whereby we need to focus with them. And again, when they realize that they are not being given attention, then definitely they move out of the country. They move away from the country. We have been seeing them going to abroad, USA. We have a lot of doctors in Germany who come from Kenya. Even Kenya medical colleges now are focusing on exporting those medical doctors to abroad so that they can give their skills. So we know that these doctors have been neglected, and that's why they want to issue a 7-day strike. And if this one happens, then definitely someone who is sick, someone who has a lot of problems when it comes to health, then they are going to suffer, and they are going to be in hot soup. So the government needs to make sure that they make these people feel wanted, because doctors and nurses are one of key people who need to be taken care of, because they are a very big determinant when it comes to and going of the country. Here I am joined by one of the honorable, is one of the best MPs, and is one of the loyal followers when it comes to William Samoei Ruto. Honorable Vincent Machoka, welcome to our today's show, and I welcome you today so that we can share and pioneer this Africa 2.4. I want to welcome you so that you can greet our followers wherever they are, and we start again, because we have been doing well for the last 1 hour and 22 minutes. Welcome, Honorable Vincent.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah, nimeshikika kidogo. I was a little bit held up, lakini nimeng'ang'ana nimalize haraka so that I can join you for some few minutes that is remaining. I didn't actually catch up what you were talking about today. Maybe you can keep me up to speed so that as we engage with our followers, I also know what we are doing here.
Honorable Vincent, we have seen doctors and other specialists. Now today we are having those strikes. They want to issue a 7-day strike so that they can be heard when it comes to their grievances. So we were asking, is the government making sure that these areas, for example, we know that when it comes to medical practitioners, the doctors and the public health, we know those people are very key determinants when it comes to the government and also the citizens. Because if the citizens don't have good health, then they are not going to go to work, and they're not going to make contribution when it comes to the country's development. Do you think the government has neglected this health and those areas that pertains the development of doctors and nurses?
Okay, that's a very good topic. I think I can start by informing our viewers that when we promulgated the Constitution of Kenya 2010, we subjected our efforts and we delegated the medical and the health system and everything dealing with health to our counties. And I think, in my own view, it was a good and bad move in a way that I can explain so that our viewers understand. I think our counties are the most disorganized and very, very corrupt institutions we created in our country. And as you can see now, the health workers cannot demonstrate against the national government, because I think the national government it just distributes money to the county, and the counties just pay the salaries and upgrade the medical facilities, except the level 6 hospitals that are being run half by the government, I think. So I think from my point of view, the counties are the problem, and going forward, it's going to be so problematic, because the governors who we elected to office have no clue on how to run serious facilities, hospitals and health facilities. That's why when you hear a governor during political rallies, they just speak that we will build hospitals, we will do this, we will do this. But when they get elected, the first priority goes to building roads, markets, and we forget that a thick person, a thick nation is a dangerous nation. If we cannot treat our people, it means that we cannot get people who will work, pay taxes. So our counties are the ones to blame on this, and I think we all must agree that the national government has done its part. About 2 weeks ago, the national government distributed around 31 billion to counties. And today, I think for those who watched, the president said that they have distributed around 46 more billion. They will add more 46 more billion to the counties. So I think this topic of the medical practitioners striking is a reminder that we as Kenyans made a mistake when we were devolving full functions of the. In fact, we have not developed full functions to the counties yet, but still you can see the collapse. So these are good lessons that we should not have delegated the duties of our health to our governors, because that was the trial. 2013 to 2017 was the first trial of the Constitution of 2010, and we failed in our health systems. That's why you can see a lot of problems in our health system in Kenya right now. NHIV is not working. You go to an hospital in the village, there is no medicine, there are no doctors, there are no nurses. So I think the problem of our hospitals should be addressed in unison, that the Kenyans, when promulgating the Constitution of Kenya 2010, we made a mistake of devolving. Imagine if we had devolved the full function of education also, what could have happened to our country right now? So let's as Kenyans first of all agree that we made a mistake by agreeing to devolve the functions to the counties, because the counties that time until now they've not found let me say correct legislation that will run our counties, especially in that category of healthcare system. Because for example, you see the kind of MCAs that we elect who really even understand what the Constitution say. Some of them don't even understand the standing orders. How can they even make a law? How can they even make a law that will protect our healthcare system? So that's why you see everything that happens in Kenya is pushed by the National Assembly and the Senate, because those are the only people who seem to understand the reason why we changed the Constitution 2010. Our governors are still busy thinking that when you are elected as governor and given, for example, PC County that receives 13.8 billion, they still believe that when you are elected as governor, your job is to give the mama mboga and those people who sell things by the roadside, umbrellas like Barati doing PC. So I think our governors doesn't know the priority projects that we should work on. And if I were to be elected governor today, I'll shift my focus to making sure that my county is never experiencing such kind of problems in our healthcare system. And I think there are counties that will not strike because their services are good. I don't know if Murang'a will strike also, but I think Murang'a is one of the counties that we do not expect to see people, healthcare workers striking tomorrow or as the strike begins. But for now, I think if the governors can shift the focus to building the legislation in the county assemblies and funding and making sure there's no corruption in our hospitals, we are going to solve a very, very big problem that is in our hospitals right now. So I think the question you asked, we must not ask the government to do anything. We just wait for the solution that we passed in the Constitution to do magic, because I don't know which magic they do. Submit.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Vincent Machoka, for that wonderful submission when it comes to the health differences. And again, someone here is saying the counties don't need more money, but they need good leadership and accountants who can direct the money where needed. So maybe the counties have accountants who are channeling the money to the wrong direction, Do you believe that some money are being channeled to the wrong direction when it comes to county government leadership, Honorable Vincent Machoka?
No, I think the governors are building wealth for retirement, and they are helping their friends to steal money in counties, because as we understand our politics, you cannot fight a politician. It will be looked like as if it's a political witch hunt. So, for example, let me use the very general example of Kisii County that I come from and where I live since I was born. I think we have received the second batch of Governor Simba's tenure, and we have received 13.8 billion twice. And if you look at our healthcare system in Kisii, for example, you will be shocked that the budget allocation for health has been subjected to fights with Osoro, fights over the border, giving Mama Mboga umbrellas written Simbarati, giving children bags branded Simbarati, giving boda guys 1,000 shillings to sing Simbarati. No. So I think if the government now, the national government, could listen to Kenyans and step in this problem that we have in our healthcare system, we are never going to solve this problem, because the devolution has really worked in our systems. I don't want to say devolution has not worked, but I feel in this healthcare part and the agriculture part, I feel like they have failed us, because, and even the education story ICT, I don't think that works. So mismanagement in the counties cannot be fought, because it will look as if it's a political mission. For example, right now there's a problem in Kisii, and there's a guy who's asked that question in the comment section. In Kisii County, the problem here is that we have a clueless governor, and our governor is a populist politician, that guy who loves attention, the guy who loves people. When people are singing Simbanita, he feels so happy. So he's focusing his energy on wrong things. He's focusing his energy on the president, sending rooms to beat up the MCAs and the directors who don't subscribe to his nonsense. So the problem is the general example of what is going on in other countries, only that it's in the media and everybody is seeing what is going on. So mismanagement in our county, that's one topic that we can talk, and I told you the other day that we should learn a day and talk about corruption in general, because corruption is one thing that I will say and think and preach and say that corruption in the counties is worse than the corruption in national government, because we are meant to believe that President Ruto is the person who is harboring corruption in national government. We are forgetting that 416 billion is being sent to our counties every year, and our counties are collecting almost revenue. It's from our restaurants and bars. Every day we are making a lot of money. But if you look at what that 416 billion, surprised that there is nothing that our government, for example, in Kisii has done in the last few years, other than fighting over the Keroka Sea border. Submit.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Vincent, for that wonderful submission, and we appreciate for always joining Africa 24, because here we always give you what it entails, and we also enlighten anyone who joins political show every day from 10 p.m. that is East African time. Wherever you are watching, whether you are in East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, whether you are in USA, Virginia, California, New York, here it is where you get a lot of information when it comes to politics, sports, and what is trending all over the world. So I want to give you some of the things that we do. Here we also have a good show that happens every Friday, that is Bed of Roses. And I want to play a clip here so that you can know what happens every Friday. If you have problems with your bed partner, when you have problems with your wife, your husband, you're having a lot of problems, because we know that nowadays marriages are having a lot of problems. You may have a woman, and again, you may have a man, but there is some things that are not adding up to the maximum. So here it is where we solve those problems. We know that marriages are having a lot of complication, and the people who are dating are having a lot of problems. So here it is where we always make sure that the curve, when it comes to love, is in the right direction. So whenever you are free, make sure you join to Bed of Roses every Friday from 8 p.m. East African time, and you will enjoy a very wonderful show here that we always have in Africa 2-4. I want to play a clip here so that you can know who will be giving you that content and making sure that when it comes to Bed of Matters, you are going to be given the right ideas.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru. Bed of Roses promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.
Yeah, that is a Bed of Roses. Bed of Roses, it is whereby you always get the ideas, because we know that if you don't have a family, then who are you having with? Because no one can survive alone. No man is an island. Again, it applies, it reciprocates when it comes to woman. No one can survive alone. So when you have problems with your partner, you are dating and you have a lot of problems, then in Bed of Roses, here it is where you get all the ideas and you always build your relationship, and you always be in the right path. I want to play a clip here so that you can move on to the next topic. Honorable Vincent, I want you to begin when monitoring this clip so that you can move to the next topic.
Karibu tena. Licha ya kupigia kura mswada wa fedha ulipowasilishwa bungeni, wabunge wawili kutoka Murang'a wameonekana kupinga baadhi ya yaliyomo kwenye sheria hiyo. Mbunge wa Gatanga Edward Muriu na mwenzake wa Kandara Shege Njuguna hivi majuzi walijumuika na wakulima kuwatimua maafisa wa KRA waliokuwa wakiendesha kampeni kuhusu sheria inayoshinikiza malipo kupitia mpango wa e-TIMS. Hata hivyo, maswali yaibuka kuhusu wabunge hao walitambua walichoidhinisha bungeni walipopitisha mswada wa fedha mwaka jana.
Uwanja wa Matenjagwa, eneo bunge la Kandara, na wakazi hawa wakitoa hasira zao kama wawakilishi wa wakulima kutoka kaunti 7 za Mlima Kenya. Hapa pia wabunge wa Kandara na Gatanga wakiungana nao kuwatia breki maafisa wa halmashauri ya ushuru wa KRA waliokuwa wakielezea kuhusu mfumo mpya wa kutoa risiti za malipo kwa njia ya mtandao ya e-TIMS.
Hayo imetengenezwa na system ambayo inaitwa e-TIMS. Na sio wewe peke yako inakuguza kama mkulima wa avocado. Inaguza watu ama wakulima aina tofauti na hata wale ambao wanafanya kazi kidogo, wale tunaita mama mboga.
Mfumo huu wa kushughulikia malipo kwenye mtandao wa e-TIMS ukiwa sehemu ya sheria ya fedha ya mwaka 2023 iliyopitishwa na bunge la kitaifa. Hata hivyo, wabunge hawa Chege Njuguna na Edward Muriu ambao sasa wameapa kupinga ukusanyaji wa ushuru kwa mfumo huo ni kati ya wabunge waliokuwa bungeni na kuupigia kura mswada wa mwaka 2023 ulioidhinishwa na sasa kuwa sheria.
The upshot of the vote is that the ayes have it.
Na sasa msimamo wao ni huu.
We are telling the government we are not going to pay that avocado taxes, and we have said and we refuse for our farmers to be killed by these taxes. Hiyo maneno tumekataa kabisa.
KRA imewataka wafanyabiashara wadogo kama wakulima, wahudumu wa jua kali kufanya malipo yao kupitia mtandao wa e-TIMS.
Hata hii maneno ya kodi imeletwa pale, iko sheria iliudwa pale bunge, tumeona iko na dosari kiasi ya kutaka wakulima ya makadamia nini waanze kutoswa. Hiyo maneno tutaketi chini, tumeongea na rais jana na waziri wa hazina, tutatafuta suluhisho, tutaongea na hao bunge wetu kwa sababu hatuwezi kusaidia mkulima na mkono moja tumuumize na ile mkono mwingine, si ndio? Aguli.
Matukio kama yaliyojiri Kandara yakiwa dhahiri kuwa wabunge huenda walipitisha sheria iliyorudi kuwachoma wenyewe.
I'm very shocked. Let me jump in.
Before we come to you, Honorable, before we come to you, Honorable Vincent Machoka, you have seen what happened, and the local farmers have declined that idea that was raised by the government, and they are even saying that they are not able to do that. We have seen Rigathi Gachagua saying that wale wakulima wamekadamia pale watakuwa wanatoza ushuru. So, but there are a lot of people who are going against it. We have seen those KRA officers that were giving the directions on how you're going to be ensuring that you feature in that paying. Then, but again, they have declined. So, Mr. Honorable Vincent, do you believe this is the right way that the government took when they decided to do that? And do you first? That is the question that I'm going to pose to you. Whether this one was the right way the government can do so that they can make Kenyans pay, so that they can monitor what happens to local farmers, and they engage everyone when it comes to tax paying in the country.
I'm very, very ashamed that Rigathi Gachagua is our deputy president right now. And I'm very, very ashamed that Wakili Edward Muriu, I usually like that guy, but I'm very ashamed that a lawyer can stand before people and say that the law we passed was not favorable. That's very, very shameful. And those people should not be voted ever again to go back to parliament ever again, because they are the people who are inciting the farmers. The farmers might not have a problem, but those politicians are the people who are making the noise. Because mimi sijasikia mkulima akisema, sijaona mkulima amepewa nafasi. I've not seen even a farmer somewhere saying that we cannot pay that money because we were not consulted or something. So, and to also comment on the deputy president, I'm really, really surprised that the deputy president can go out in public and say that the law we made had a blunder, because he himself, I remember immediately during the finance debate, he hosted our presenters at current restaurants and spoke a lot about the finance bill, how good that finance bill is. Right now, he cannot go out in public again and say that we made a mistake. That's showing that he didn't even read that law. He didn't even take time to understand what was the finance bill. That's why I say that we cannot. That's why I say that we cannot have such a person in government whose job is to criticize the same policies that he himself passed and was busy campaigning for last year. So the deputy president is not in order, and that Wakili Muriu is not in order. And I think the people should consider taking them home, especially that guy from Kandara who succeeded, the good lawyer Alice Waume. He should be taken home during the next election. I don't feel like that's a good way of passing a message by criticizing what you voted for in parliament and what you believed in during the finance bill debate. So that thing of farmers. Now let me try and explain what happened in that issue of farmers. The farmers have been helped by the government to by far, given a subsidy of fertilizer, given seeds, given top dressing fertilizer, and right now they are being asked to pay something from what they made, because you can't just take without giving back. No. So the government is just telling the farmers that whatever you make, if you can tax at least 5 bob from maybe if you're making 1,000 shillings, you take 50 shillings from that. You're making so that we can get money to give you fertilizer back. But the politicians are behaving as if it's only the Mount Kenya people who are wenye wanalima avocado ndio wakulima. You see, we are the biggest producers of avocado in Kenya. I think if I am not wrong in my statistics, because we are most, I think the greenest county, the greenest place in Kenya is, and this is the place that I remember, I can tell you we buy avocado sometimes, but when you go to places like Nairobi, so avocado inauzwa 150. So I think the people should also be given a chance to be heard. The people should be heard. Let not the politicians always take the chance to take. Najua hii ni ile tunaitanga kuosha uso. Ni kama you are cleaning your face. Cleaning your linen, I don't know. Because if you made a mistake and you don't know how to admit publicly, you look for an avenue of cleaning your face and clearing your name so that the public can see that you are on our side. So Wakile Edward Muriu was very much someone the president campaigned for personally, and even I remember the president said that if I were a voter here in Gatanga, I could have voted for this guy, Wakili Muriu. But now, Wakili Muriu, the guy we believe that was educated and was very brilliant, we expected him to read that finance bill and at least give us some substance. Atuambie hii iko na makosa, hii iko sawa, hii iko na makosa. He's the guy that is now being campaigning against the same finance bill that they passed. So I'm very ashamed as a Kenya Kwanza supporter and as a William Ruto supporter that I personally, that I am not even a lawyer. I am just an educated teacher who loves mathematics and physics. I took my time and went through the numbers in the finance bill. There are things I didn't understand. I had to look for people who understand so that I can be made to understand. There were killings that we sent to parliament who are waiting to vote yes and just impress the president. No, that's very wrong. And I think that's a very good lesson to our Kenyans who vote for people that will just go to parliament to impress their voters. And I have opined here before in this platform, I remember, and I told you the only problem we have in Kenya is our members of parliament. The institution of parliament is the problem we have in Kenya because it's never independent, it's never dependent. I don't know where it is because those people sometimes you remember during the handshake, we didn't know what vision, what was government, what even how the bills were being passed at night, how the people used to fight the police are guarding the parliament during the voting of serious exercises like IBC. So IBC selection of those officials that the Cherera for, you remember that. So I think we have a problem in parliament, and this is what I've been saying, and I keep saying that unless we Kenyans wake up and start electing people who know what they're doing, we stop electing people based on our parties. We just elect people who are brilliant. The people who will go to parliament. You know, I usually say that Sifuna is one guy who I admire. When he is not from our side, I admire him to an extent. But the way he insults, that's my problem with him. Usually he insults a lot and say a lot of kizungu that does not make sense. But he's a very good debater. He's a guy who takes time to read something. But these other members of parliament we have, I can tell you 60% of the members of parliament, they never had a chance to read the finance bill. I can tell you that. I'm sure even I know I respect my member of parliament, but I can tell you for free, if you sit him down and ask him what the finance bill 2023 said, he might not tell you what the current finance bill had. So this is not a problem of the farmers. This is not the problem of Kenyans. This is the problem we have with our parliament of Kenya.
Yeah, that is a wonderful, honorable. And we all know that everything that goes on through the parliament, then it has to go through public so that they can participate. But again, we have seen Deputy saying that that one is very easy. So wale wakulima wa makadamia, wale wanalima vitu dogo dogo pale wakiwa wanatoa ushuru. So people complained, but again, it is their opinion. But again, how are they going to benefit? A lot of people are commenting here. Goodyear is saying, so he is introducing barcode, which means post taxes on avocados. I thought bills should go through the parliament before being thrown to the public for once and
Let
funded.
me answer him. Don't remove that comment from the screen. You know, Goodyear, we have a problem in paying taxes, and it's a problem that we must solve in the country. Not everyone is paying taxes. I can tell you that I know people and I know friends who export avocado to Tanzania. They use, I don't know which means, so that they can export now from Tanzania to Europe or to America with less export duty, so that they can be charged less in Tanzania, because in Tanzania I think their duty is a bit cheaper. So those are the kind of people that we are fighting, and that's what the government is doing. When you're introducing such kind of a barcode, it means that we need accountability. Even if the farmer will have to pay a very little amount, even if we have to pay 5 shillings, that is a very that money will be used for the purpose that is intended to do. If we can take advantage of that and report such kind of cases to the government, that there are people who are picking avocados from farmers that are cheaper price and going to Tanzania export expensively, so that they can make more income and not pay taxes. That's the problem they have. That problem. So, and I think these politicians that make a lot of noise are the cartels that William Ruto usually speaks about, because these are the people who are connected. These are the only people who can do things using the badge that they are given by the government. These are the people who can pass through clearance without being checked. I think these are the people who facilitate cartels to pass things through the border. That's why I don't trust majority of our members of parliament when we say they are clean and they're doing good jobs in parliament. So, my brother Goodyear, if the government is introducing such kind of a thing, we should be supporting as Kenyans, because that's one way we can be accountable as a country, and that's when we can know where our money is channeled to. And on top of that, the government is also soliciting and putting together all the government accounts, so that we can have one account that we can follow through where the money is going to, how the money was drawn, which account was the money moved to. By the way, I can tell you that right now the government uses over 312 accounts, and those accounts, for example, Kish account has around 26 of them. So you can't know which money was withdrawn by who, to where, to which, unless we do that kind of soliciting and putting things together. That's the only time we can know for real that the money we work hard for is used for the purpose it's intended to do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable, for that wonderful ideas that you have contributed to Africa24. And I welcome you wherever you are watching, because this is Africa24. Wherever you want to follow us in YouTube, Facebook, make sure you always subscribe, and you can follow us in YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, in all social media platforms. You can get at, so that you can share your ideas, and we welcome you to give us your ideas when it comes to our show, whether it is in negative way or a positive way. Share your comments, and we're going to hear them here, because it is here whereby we give it into neutral ground, whereby you participate and you get involved. Your ideas are here there in Africa24 TV. Wherever you're watching, you make sure that you tune in, because you will always enjoy everything that happens in this Africa. And again, we know that every Friday, I want to play a clip here, and some of the programs that we have in Africa24, I want to play a clip here so that you can know what happens, and always be in touch with Africa24 TV. Yeah, that one is Dimba African. We always have Dimba Africa when it comes to football matters. And I always host this show every Saturday from 11 a.m. that is East African time up to 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. that is East African time. Make sure you have a date with us, because here we analyze every football, because every league we always discuss here, either EPL, that is the English Premier League. We always discuss Bundesliga. We always discuss La Liga. We always discuss the Serie A and the other leagues. Of course, we know we have conference, you have a Champions League, and we also have the EFL Carabao Cup that was lifted by Jurgen Klopp side, and they said that it was Jurgen Klopp side versus 1 billion Chelsea Football Club. But again, we swallowed that. That was one of the things that we always discuss when it comes to football every Saturday at 11 a.m. That is East African time. So someone here is saying right now DP Gachagua can be forgiven for small mistakes because he is fighting for his seat. He feels frozen out. Mr. Honorable Vincent, Deputy President is now sensing danger, because after seeing what is happening between the relationship whereby William Samoei Ruto is having a good time with the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, you can see what happened when they met Museveni at the Uganda. Now you can see again William Ruto went to Homa Bay in that conference that was held in Gladys Wanga County. So a lot of things are happening, and it's like there is a restoration of that bromance between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. So this one gives DP Gachagua some goosebumps. DP Gachagua now is sensing danger come 2027 and 2032. Do you think DP Gachagua is being held in a sideways so that he can be in the wrong direction come 2027 and 2032? Is he feeling? Is he having a feeling that things might change?
We have learned from the past, and let me always say that if you cannot learn from history, then you are not learning. We've had one deputy president in Kenya, and he's now president, and we have cleared that problem that used to be there, that you cannot be president if you are deputy or if you are a vice president. So right now that is cleared, and I know everybody agrees with me that right now that story that we are being told that the position of vice president or deputy president is cast, and you cannot clinch the position of president once you have sat in the office of the deputy president. So I think Rigathi Gachagua should stop panicking, and it's too early for him to panic. There's no bromance. There's no bromance, and if you can look through your lenses, let me call it the political lenses, because those are what I use whenever I want to analyze something. The only person who is under pressure right now is Raila, because Raila has not managed to put his base behind him completely. And if you can see from the recent clips about traversing in Luo Nyanza and the speeches he's been making, you will realize that Raila is panicked. He is not sure where he should be. He is not sure if he should be at the AU or should be Luo leader. He's having a problem managing succession, and Rigathi Gachagua should take advantage of that and try to create a name for him. Because let me tell you, the only way Mount Kenya can unite is by making someone an enemy. And I think if I were Rigathi Gachagua right now, I could hire those bloggers that were blogging for Raila, the likes of Pauline Njoroge and the likes of Wahome Tuku, the likes of I don't know, those Ndungu Harun, those people who were blogging for and making noise about Raila Odinga. I could hire them right now, because now this is the time that whatever you say will be used against you or for you. So right now, Rigathi Gachagua is panicking for no reason, and that one goes way to show that he first of all wasn't ready for the seat of deputy president. The seat got him by surprise. That's one way of looking at it, and I feel if Rigathi can sit down and strategize and be humble and try to not act as a victim, try to act strong, because if you can look at William Ruto's his tenure as deputy president, nobody ever saw Ruto as a victim until after the handshake, until after BBI was declared null and void. That's when we started hearing Ruto acting victim, that wamemtoa kwa serikali ati wanataka wafanye nini. Right now Rigathi has not been kicked out of the government, but I was surprised also not to see him today when the president was assenting to the very, very crucial county government bill. And I think if Rigathi starts doing such kind of things, it's going to create a perception in people's minds that he's being isolated from government, and that's not actually the case, because William Ruto has a history of keeping friends, and we all know that William Ruto will always keep his friends close to him. William Ruto hates creating enemies, and I don't think he will want to create Rigathi Gachagua as an enemy right now, because he also needs the Mount Kenya as much as the Mount Kenya needs him. He also needs the Mount Kenya in 2027, and maybe if the Mount Kenya decides to go to chart their own path, it's going to be a problem for them in future to make friendship with other tribes. So I think Rigathi Gachagua is panicking for no reason. He should come down and they should seek for political advice from serious people who can tell him that right now in 2024 and 2032 is I think is almost 10 years from now, and you don't know what will happen between 2024 and 2032. So he should come down and strategize. If he wants to succeed William Ruto, he should sit down and strategize properly and try to look like a national figure. He's disappointing me in a way that I usually feel like Rigathi Gachagua is a Mount Kenya deputy president, because most of the time anasemanga sisi watu wa Mount Kenya, sisi watu wa Mount Kenya, sisi watu wa Mount Kenya. He's so much focused. He's so much focused in the mountain more than the office of the deputy president. That's why I also disagreed with Uhuru sometimes last year. Okay, during the campaigns when he used to call for those meetings called Sagana 1, 2, and 3. That speaking of vernacular used to anger me most, because as a national and as the constitution says, the president is a symbol of national unity. You should not divide people in lines of tribes. So I think Rigathi Gachagua should not follow through the footsteps of Uhuru if he wants to be a great leader in the future. I think I have answered that well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Honorable Invens. And we have a lot of comments here raising eyebrows. We have enough is thing. I find it puzzling that despite the government efforts to promote accountability and enforce tax compliance, as in the norm in most developed countries, there is pushback from a few people. This is a comment that there is some people who are pushing so that people can pay tax. There are people who are trying to enforce that we have to pay taxes, and through this now we are going to be a country that is moving on forward. So we need to make these people pay taxes. And here he is saying the government, despite the government efforts to promote accountability and enforce tax, then there are some people who are trying to push, some people who are trying to enforce a law so that they can make this rule be a must. And again, we know that paying taxes is an obligation that every citizen must pay tax. But again, do we need to push the citizen? Do we need to push people so that they can pay tax? What is your take, Mr. Vincent?
If you want hospitals, if you want roads, if you want electricity, pay taxes. If you want to build your country, pay taxes. That's one thing I will start by saying, because if we can't finance our own budget, and we keep living on borrowed money to build roads, we will be working for other people. you saw the problem we almost ran into a few months ago. This Eurobond stuff. That thing almost put our country in trouble, and it needed a very pragmatic leader to remove us from that kind of a mess. So we must pay our taxes, and sometimes I usually feel like countries that have a monarchical kind of leadership and countries that have a president who is the law are countries that are doing so well. And I'm not saying that Rwanda is doing so well and Uganda, but you can see how there is a less noise and there is less confusion when it comes to making laws. In Kenya, we have a build-up tendency of opposing everything that the government does, and sometimes that's okay, that's accountability, but sometimes there are things that are good for Mwananchi, even if they are not good for some individuals. So nowadays in Kenya, when you don't feel comfortable about something, you just run to the courts, and the courts will protect you over the thing that could have helped a lot of people. So I think we must pay our taxes. That's the only way we are going to build our country. And it's not wrong to tell people to pay taxes. Let people pay taxes, but let also the government make sure that the taxes are protected and they are channeled the right things that are supposed to be done with the taxes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. How do we anticipate development when we persistently complain about taxes every other minute? We always complain. You know that Kenyans, we are born to complain. Everything that happens, we need to complain. We know that every situation that only comes to Kenyans complain. You know, Kenyans are born to complain, and when they complain, then definitely they think that there is going to be something to be considered. But again, we always know that if we don't pay taxes, then the government will not run smoothly. A government runs through the taxation because they're going to tax the citizens, and from the taxation, then these citizens are going to get basic things like power. We know that when power goes missing, then it definitely people complain. When we don't have social amenities, then complain. When we don't have electricity, when we don't have education support, then people complain. It is only by taxation that the government can move on well. And we had President William Ruto saying that he is ready to be called names. He is ready to be called several names. President William Ruto said that I am ready to be called even Zakayo because I know that I am ready to make this country change. I want to make change that will never happen in this country. I am ready to serve this nation until I make this country be in the right way. And you see that Japan, other countries depend on themselves. So Japan is a country that depends on themselves. So William Ruto said that he is ready to be called any names, and he wants to make sure that this country moves on well.
I was looking at the
President,
numbers,
what he said.
You know, today, Japan, their tax as a percentage of GDP is at 34.8%. In Kenya, we are at 15, less than half what it is here. If we have to develop our country, Kenyans must roll up their sleeves and develop their country. Our country is not going to be developed by others. Our country is not going to be developed by aid. Our country is not going to be developed by debt. Our country is going to be developed by us. Japan is built by the Japanese using their own taxes. Kenya will be built by Kenya using our own revenues and our own taxes. That is a statement that we must tell each other. The one thing that I have committed myself to do is that we must then provide a guarantee that every Kenyan who pays for whatever service or pays whatever tax, that money should not be stolen by anybody. So long as we collect whatever tax we are collecting and we use it to grow our country, it is going to benefit us eventually. The one thing we must never do, and I will not do as president, is to say that there will be free lunch, that the country is going to be developed by borrowing money from other people, that the money is going to, that Kenya is going to be developed by others, and that it's going to cost us nothing to develop our country. That one I will not do, and I will not encourage you to do. And that is why I don't mind, you know. People call me names. But you see, when you are doing the right thing, your conscience is clear that you are doing the right thing. And I will do the right thing for our country, irrespective of what names people call me, including Zakayo.
The president is saying he is going to do everything. And people have been calling him Zakayo. So he is aware that people have been calling him Zakayo. Despite what he has been pampering, because he assures Kenyans that he is ready to make this country move on. And he has emphasized that we need to tell every Kenyan that paying taxes, it is only way that the government is going to collect revenues. And we want to develop our country by collecting taxes from our own, by not depending on other countries, by being given money from other ends. We need to get this one from our own and develop our country, because the president has the best ideas to make sure that this country moves on well. And Mr. Honorable Vincent, do you agree with Mr. President words from that clip?
What is there to add, my friend? You know that guy, when Ruto speaks, he tends to cover everything that we can talk about. And the only thing that I know people are waiting for him to say is will be their accountability. That's what he said. I will not allow money to be stolen, and that's a very assuring word that will motivate our Kenyans to pay taxes. So right now, I think is our obligation as a country to also follow in the footsteps of other countries and build our own country using our own money. We raise a lot of money. I think we raise about 2.6 trillion in a year as taxes, and I think if we keep improving, and if the government creates employment, and if the government broadens the tax base, we are going to have a lot of people in the tax bracket, and that's how we are going to grow our country. We are not going to rely on loans. Let loans be there to boost our country's foreign reserves. Let our foreign money come to as investment to the country, so that we inject new currency or new money to the republic. But for now, let's do what vile kitu wanasemanga, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what's God's. So let's pay our taxes, and let's open our eyes, and let's see that, let's question the government on where our taxes are going. Let's always question where our money is going, because we can't just be paying taxes and just sleep and not do nothing. No. So for now, I think the president is in order, and we should all support him that we must pay our taxes. We must build our country using our own money. That's when we will enjoy our sweat. These things like SGR and expressway that we are enjoying right now, we are paying dearly. We are paying dearly. And so what China did to us last month in January, when they demanded to be paid $300 million on a Friday, when I don't know where the government could have gathered the money from and paid. So we don't want to put ourselves in such a situation ever again in the future. That's why I agree with the president that we must not do these commercial projects, these projects that take billions of money. We must do these small projects that will take our taxes, and we can feel like our sweat. This is our sweat, and whenever you're driving on a road, knowing that you build it using your taxes, you feel comfortable to even tell the police that nime overspeed kidogo, lakini mimi ndio nimejenga hii barabara. You see, so I think this is the way to go, and as Kenyans, it's our obligation to also question and follow where our taxes go to, and so give the government ideas, attend the public participation things so that we can give the government the ideas, and so that we also build our nation.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Honorable. And that was one. Wow. I get you, and that one is very nice one. So I want us to move to the next one, and we have seen very many things happening, and we all know that the LSK has been having a new leader, and he has taken the position immediately. Now we want to see what happened when it comes to LSK, that is the Law Society of Kenya.
The Law Society of Kenya is set to initiate contempt of
court
court proceedings against the Kenya Revenue Authority over the continued deduction of the housing levy. LSK's President-elect Faith Odhiambo faulted the KRA's actions that were being undertaken in the absence of a law governing the deductions. The High Court late last year declared the housing levy unconstitutional. And as Brenda Wanga reports, the LSK's protest comes as the government secured a win in court with the dismissal of the latest challenge to the Housing Bill 2023.
The Law Society of Kenya is gearing to take on the government through the tax collector, KRA, over the continued deduction of the housing levy that was declared unconstitutional 3 months ago.
It has come to our attention that the Kenya Revenue Authority and other government agencies have, despite the declaration of Section 84 as being unconstitutional, have continued to deduct and remit to the Kenya Revenue Authority the housing levy. There is no legal basis to deduct the housing levy, and this action amounts to contempt of court and arbitrary imposition of tax.
And the LSK says it is going back to the same courts to seek redress.
Society of Kenya shall immediately commence contempt of court proceedings against the Commissioner General of the Kenya Revenue Authority, as well as against all accounting officers and employers who have unlawfully deducted the housing levy.
Lead us to one conclusion, that there is an informal government policy to restrict the rights of Kenyans. There is a government policy not to comply with court orders that the government does not agree with. And we are concerned that if we continue in this manner, then the administration of law going to courts will lose meaning.
The lawyers are calling on the general public whose payslips continue to be raided by the taxman to help make the suits a success.
We call upon all employees who have suffered this illegal deduction to get in touch with the Law Society through our email address, and we will share the same and share their salary payslips to facilitate the filing of the application seeking refund of the illegally deducted dues.
LSK's move to court comes just days after the Attorney General, Justin Muturi, cautioned KRA against the continued deductions, stating that there wasn't a legal framework to support the deductions.
This press conference. Thank you so much.
LSK's legal battle with the government brews as the courts handed it a victory over the housing bill currently in the Senate. The courts in Nairobi dismissed a petition filed by Lawrence Omule Apio challenging the manner in which the public participation on the bill was conducted. Omule stated in his petition that the Affordable Housing Bill 2023 was rushed without the adequate and effective public participation and consideration of the special needs of the marginalized communities, and therefore there was unlawful and unconstitutional failure to comply with the requirement of public participation and protection of the marginalized. The High Court, however, in dismissing the petition, stated that the public participation conducted by the National Assembly was effective and conditionality compliant. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Yes, you have seen this one whereby the LSK elect that is now taking the position immediately. He has now the momentum now to get into this position. He is saying that they want to take the position and make sure that those who have been deducted those money now, definitely they have declared the housing levy unconstitutional, and they want to make sure that whoever has been deducted that money is going to get the refund. They are even going ahead and sharing the email address. If you have been suffering from this one, you share the email address, and they're going to sue, and they go direct to present their grievances. Do you think, Mr. Vincent, this is the right way that the LSK, that is President-elect Faith Odhiambo, is taking his right direction since he has been elected a few days ago?
First of all, let me congratulate her for getting elected. You know, I was also, if I were voting for those people in the Law Society of Kenya, if I were one of those people, I could have voted for her because I usually admire her and her brilliancy, and I hope she's going to do a better job more than that guy who was standing next to her. That the Uri was a letdown. That Law Society of Kenya, and I know most of Kenyans can agree that that guy was a puppet of some political side of the divide. So right now, I hope Faith Odhiambo, my wish, so is to do a good job more than what the Law Society of Kenya did last 2 years. I think I read a tweet from, I don't know if it's Nelson Harvey or it's Kenya and the Judicial Service Commission. And I agree with them because if you can see how El Teuri used to do his things compared to what this lady has done today, you can see a great improvement and a great difference. And I hope this is going to be the way to go. Let the Law Society not show that they are so powerful and they are so educated. They have rights, more rights than other people to move to court to protect and to prevent other things from going on. So I think the way this lady Faith has stated that the new president has said that let Kenyans send those who have been deducted illegally, let them send their claims via email so that it will be easy for them to swear someone an affidavit so that when they are going to court, they are going to present a case that is factual. This is one way of showing that the LSK is determined to file a competent case against the government. And if the case is to be won, you have to have evidence that will be easy to tell to the court. So this is the good way to go, and I must congratulate her. That's what we've been expecting from our Law Society of Kenya, not just making remarks on TV and calling for protest so that you protest against government. And you can remember last time when the Law Society of Kenya was protesting, you had some lawyers saying that Ruto must go. That's not the job of the Law Society of Kenya to tell us who should go where. So I think I hope in Faith's presidency we are going to see a difference, and going forward we are going to see mature leadership in the Law Society of Kenya. I am not in the legal fraternity, but I usually follow how these people work, and I hope that from the way I have read her portfolio, she's going to perform so well. And to that issue of deductions, I want to say that KRA must be condemned, because if the Attorney General, who is the senior most legal advisor of the President, has told you not to protect or not to deduct the housing levy, you must obey that, because that person speaks on behalf of the President, and that person cannot just make a remark without the advice of the President also. So the Attorney General, when the Attorney General went on public to say that the month of February and the month of March, and I think it was the month of March or February, should not be deducted as a part of the housing levy, the KRA should have obeyed that. And if they have deducted, they are going to post the President is to deliver houses to the people. For now, I think let the KRA not deduct no money until the housing bill that is going to the Senate will be passed first, so that after passing now, when they create the regulations and the bill is assented to by the President, that's when now they should start deducting afresh. I think I have explained that well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I get you. And we all know that that is the Law Society of Kenya is one way that weighs in all dimensions. We know their logo that always measures every dimension and give their verdicts in the right way. So the law always has no one. It states that no one is above the law. So even if it's even if it's the president, the deputy president, anyone else must obey the law, because without the laws, then the country will not go on well. So we need to make sure that we obey the laws, and we make sure that we involve everyone, and any law that is passed then need to be approved and need to be made sure that this one is good in use. And again, public participation, because public, that law is meant to be enforced to public, because any law that is enforced without public participation, then definitely that one will be a forced law. And again, public participation is one of ways that the Constitution grants that we engage the public so that they can give their opinions when it comes to any law. So they are saying anyone else who got the deduction for the housing levy, then definitely they are going to be refunded. So they are going to take necessary actions towards the Kenya Revenue Authority, whereby they are going to be enforcing to get back whoever has got those deductions. And again, that one is a nice move, because we believe that the LSK is a board that needs to make sure that every citizen is given the right to participate in every law that has been processed, either in parliament. And we know that in parliament, that is where laws are made. And in parliament, it is where the MPs that were elected, you elect the MPs, those MPs are the ones who represent us there. And they have to vet any law that is being made in parliament. Thank you so much, Honorable Vincent. And as we pioneer towards the end of the show, I want to play a clip here. And this one is a repetition, but again, because you are not here, I want you to give us your opinion about this one, because it is one of
kumbukeni wakati mimi nilikuwa makamu wa Kibaki, uchumi wa Kenya ulikuwa marudufu, lakini sasa tulikuja watu wakadanganywa, wakaambiwa kwamba mkituchagua vijana mtapata kazi, bodaboda mtapata zingine hata za sitima. Mumeona bodaboda ya sitima huku? Wangapi wananisikia? Asante. Kwa hivyo tunasema siasa za udanganyifu zimefika kikomo, na tumekuja kuambieni bado kuna hope, kuna tumaini. Matumaini ni kwamba sisi wanaazimio la umoja wa Kenya tuko sawa. Ingawaje umesikia Raila anaenda kufanya kazi huko Addis Ababa, bado sisi tuko, ama sivyo? Ama sivyo? Wakisema baba anaenda, msema Uncle Steve bado yuko. Tena mnayo wakati anasema Uncle Steve yuko. Na mjue sisi kama mkoa wetu wa Mashariki, kutoka Isiolo, Marsabit, Embu, Meru, Makueni, Kitui, Machakos, ndiyo ilikuwa Eastern Province. Wakati wazee kama Jeremiah Nyaga walikuweko, ndio walitufunza kazi. Kusema kweli, kama sio siasa ya ukabila, Nyaga angekuwa hata president wa Kenya. Lakini wakati umefika, pengine mkijitahidi, watu wa Eastern Province mnaweza kutoa mmoja wenu mkasongesha mbele. Mko tayari? Mko tayari? Wangapi wako tayari? Alafu kama hiyo tunafanya kutoa ushuru ndio ujengee watu wengine manyumba, na hiyo manyumba sio ati utapata automatic, hajulikani. Ni watu wanapokonya, wanarokota pesa zetu, pesa za raia ambao hawana kazi, pesa za raia ambao wanajaribu amba hata kujimudu kimaisha. Kwa hivyo tumekuja kuambia kwamba bado tuko. hata kama baba anaenda Addis Ababa, kina Wamala, kina Kalonzo, kina Mwangi wa Iria tuko na tunataka mjue kwamba vile tunawaona hapa, mnataka turudi wakati. Kwanza tuwaambie mujue kwamba maandamano haki yetu. Mnasikia wananchi waliandamana Nairobi, mimi na Eugene karibu tuliuawa. Raila alipigwa risasi 9, na huku yule Raila alikuwa amesema yeye ni mganga, sasa wameshikamana na Ruto. Gachagua amebaki peke yake huku. Unasikia? Gachagua alikuwa akisema Raila akienda Ikulu atatoa suruali ya ndani aweke juu kwa kichwa. Wangapi wanataka kuombea huyo jamaa ili aliwe na siasa ya Kenya? Kwa hivyo tunafurahi zaidi. Wangapi wako tayari kujiunga na Azimio ndio tumalize ukabila Kenya hii? Wangapi? Asanteni, ngoja mnajua
anasema Uncle Steve hapo anasema Kalonzo Rigathi alisema Raila akiingia pale atatoa suruali atembee nayo. So anasema anafaa aelewe siasa ya Kenya. Anasema Rigathi Gachagua anafaa aelewe siasa ya Kenya. Ni usemi wake kiongozi wa Wiper Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. He is saying that DP Rigathi Gachagua, he has now to understand what it entails when it comes to Kenyan politics, and he's saying they are ready. You heard him saying that they are ready to take over, even if the AU takes Raila Odinga to become their chairman. And he has already said that the government has promised Kenyans a lot of things. They have promised Kenyans a lot of things that have not been brought to realistic. So he is blaming the government that the government is not doing the right thing when it comes to implementing what they promised to them. And again, in contrary, we heard what he said, President William Ruto, that he wants to make sure this country changes and goes into the right direction. So here is the contrary. And Kalonzo Musyoka is saying the Eastern Province, those times before the devolution, it was from Meru, Isiolo, Ukambani, Machakos, Kitui. Now he is saying if now the Eastern Province that has been divided due to devolution, if it comes together now, they can produce someone who can be the leader of this country. He is talking indirectly because he wants to mention himself, but again, he has not said that he is the one. But again, do you think the Eastern Province can produce the president to be come 2027?
Yeah, they can. I'm not saying they cannot, but it's not Kalonzo. They should find another one. So, because that guy to me does not sound ready. He does not sound ready to take over from Raila, because becoming one thing I know about Kalonzo is that he usually wants to play clean. That is the cleanest politician we have ever seen in this country. The most original politician that we have not had as president. Kalonzo is a conundrum to the problems we also had in the past years. And we know Kalonzo has been in politics for over 30-something years. He's even older than Ruto in politics. But you see, siasa ni kujipanga, my friend. So Kalonzo has never known how to kujipanga. The same way Raila said, we cannot be pangward. So Kalonzo bado anangoja panga. Ndio maana we can hear from his speech that anasema he's mentioning Raila, he's mentioning Gachagua, he's mentioning rumors that we all read on Twitter. He's starting to sell a narrative to Mount Kenya that Gachagua has been isolated. That's one thing he wants to do. If you can listen through his speech, you can realize that he wants to create that division. But one thing I want to tell Kalonzo, and I hope he finds this deep and listens to it. When you want to beat the heart of the people, make sure you master the art of speaking to the people. Let your speech be charming. Let your words speak to the heart of the people. Let what you say incorporate all the figures of speech that we were taught in high school. let you be funny. Don't be too serious all the time. Sometimes joke with the people, sometimes lie to these people, because the lies are easy to sell when you want to market yourself. Right now, Kalonzo is marketing himself as a successor of Raila, not as a presidential candidate. If you can listen from his speech, he's trying to manage to manage the people that Raila is going, and I am here now for you. The gap is not going to be left vacant, but you can feel the gap already from his speech. Kalonzo is feeling empty. Kalonzo cannot do anything on his own. And the guys that are standing on the car with him, you can tell you, Eugene Wamalwa, I don't know if he'll ever get voted anywhere else, even as governor. I think he should go to Trans Nzoia where he belongs and try to run for governor against Natembea in 2027. Let's see if we can manage to even get a quarter of the votes that Natembea will garner. So Kalonzo must first of all organize a team that will do the PR gimmicks for him. Let him organize a team that will sell his narrative. Let him organize a group of bloggers to try and create hashtag, create propaganda, create narratives for him to move. Because Kalonzo is acting on empty rhetorics, because that's why umesikia akisema kwa speech yake that watu unanisikiza kweli, nani ananisikiza hapa? As a politician, you're not supposed to ask Kenyans or your audience, or as a speaker, you're not supposed to ask your audience nani anakusikiza. It means you know that you are talking and there's nobody who is listening to you. So Alonso should first of all learn the art of speech. He should learn the art of becoming that charming politician. You know how Raila uses music and the wheels, how we usually use football, how he uses some matusi kidogo, how he uses some mockery to pass his message. That's one thing you can never be taught by anyone unless you teach yourself. So Kalonzo has a long way to go, and he needs to go to a boardroom where there are clients, where there are politicians, where there are bloggers, and where there are influencers, so that they can teach him how to publicize himself, how to market his name. Kalonzo, first of all, is acting like some puppet. He's not a Kalonzo. And again, one thing I've learned from his speech is that he's trying to tell Embu that you belong to Eastern, not to Mount Kenya. I think you can also deduct that from the speech. You can realize that he's saying that now the Embu, the Meru, the Kamba, the Isiolo, and I don't know which other tribe is mentioned, that they should unite and try and one thing he's trying to do. He's doing the same thing that they usually condemn President Ruto from doing, that he's using the divide and rule mechanism to rule Kenya. No, Kalonzo could have come up with another narrative of becoming now a neutral politician who is not there for Raila and who is not against Ruto. He should come up with his agenda and try to sell himself as someone who has arrived and he's trying to change Kenya. He should be given a chance to rule Kenya, because when he was with Kibaki, he did 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, William Ruto, when he was campaigning in 2013 and 2017, he told us that when he was a minister in Kibaki's government, he did 1, 2, 3. When he was a member of parliament for Eldoret North, he did 1, 2, 3, 4. Kalonzo has been vice president. Kalonzo has been a member of parliament. Kalonzo has been a minister. Kalonzo has been assistant minister. But whenever he speaks, he never reminds people that when I was minister, I did this to the people of Kitui. When I was minister, I did this, because he did nothing. There's nothing he did. That's why he feels ashamed of saying that when I was with Kibaki, we did 1, 2, 3, because during Kibaki's tenure, the people who used to do the job are the ministers and Kibaki himself, and maybe Raila Odinga was the prime minister. So the Kalonzo Musyoka should spare us the time and try and go back, try to find some serious candidates within themselves, whether it's Eugene, whether it's Mwangi Waithia, whether it's Gideon Moi. All those people are jokers, and we know from the OCA stuff that was going on from 2020 to 2021, that going circles, going to meetings, trying to find who will be the flag bearer of OCA. Let them make flag bearer now, so that they can market one person. That's the same thing Ruto did to himself. Ruto made himself the candidate in 2017, and the people the people around him started marketing William Ruto for president. As from 2017, by the time we were getting to 2022, everybody knew William Ruto would be the flag bearer of UDA. Kalonzo Musyoka has a party that has so many members of parliament and government.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, Mr. Vincent. Your sound has gone missing. So here we have a lot of comments that are coming through. We have people are asking a lot of questions, and we need to handle them in the right way. So.
Oh, sorry. I had placed my finger on the mouthpiece. I'm sorry. So you people weren't hearing me.
At the end of the talk, that is where the conversation went mute. So people are talking about Mount Kenya all the time, and the same fashion of Kalonzo thinking about only the campus. So this is a comment whereby people are talking about Mount Kenya all the time. Same fashion of Kalonzo thinking about only the campus. We are all Kenyans and one. Forget about tribal. We need to be a metropolitans and cosmopolitan. That is a comment that is coming from good here. And again, we also have a comment here. Good here is saying Ruto has been given a free pass. He will still be the next president next term, coming 2027. That is a very good comment from one of our followers. And again, someone here anataka ile kitu. Kalonzo ni kama panya kwa simba, Kalonzo hana ile moto. That is a comment from someone, and it is not true. A comment for Afrique. It is a comment from one of our followers. It is not a comment, and we want to know if this one is true. That is. Kalonzo now being linked, and other leaders being linked to being the president running to those political parties. That one will be a free entry. Someone is saying it will be a free entry. It will be an easy game. It will be like Manchester City playing Swansea City. It will be a very United. It will be Manchester City playing Manchester United. Yesterday we saw it was like a Montelongolod, where it was like someone clamping, someone who is coming from the top of Montelongolod and going to the bottom. That was the game that was played yesterday between Manchester City and Manchester United. So same way it applies here, that Ruto will be having a very easy time come 2027, because no one can give him that competitive power as that was given by Raila Amolo Odinga. Is this true?
Yeah, I agree. I agree, because so far so good. This guy has demonstrated with the political giant. This guy has defeated all odds. He has defeated all odds to be what he is right now. I don't know if we can compare him to even Raila Odinga right now, because this guy won the election that we all believe that he's going to lose, and everybody was running away from him. So I think Alonso had the chance to work with Ruto, but he refused, and he could be maybe the prime minister right now, or he could be the speaker of the Senate right now. But he chose to be Raila's follower, as most of our Kenyans are. He's not ready to take over from Raila. Even the likes of Eugene Wamalwa, without the assistance of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, they will be nothing, and they have nothing. The likes of Gideon Moi himself cannot even make a speech in public. So I think this is not only a free pass, but We don't even need to waste resources in 2027 to in printing those presidential papers. Let's focus on also doing that in counties. Let's make leaders in counties who will do a job the way the president is doing, so that we don't find an alternative. Also, you see. But for now, I believe 2027 is gone, and we should focus on 2032, which I don't know if my conscience serves me right, and if my prediction will be right. This city is going to a very young leader from the Mount Kenya, and that guy will be deputized by another young leader from the Rift Valley, and then we'll have a prime minister from the Luo nation who is also a young leader, and we'll have a very inclusive government in 2032. But I'm not saying that the seats will go back to Mount Kenya. We also desire to have the seat in Nyanza. But I want it to be away from Nyanza until 2042, so that I can, when I will be running for president in 2042, I'll be the one who will be the voice of Nyanza, and I will come to the ballot with over 3.5 million votes from Nyanza, so that the people in your counties, especially you, Boniface, who comes from Eastern Province, you can talk with 1.2 million, so that I can also talk with another 1 million from the Rift Valley, and then talk with the 2 million from Mount Kenya. The coastal region will give me 500. That's how I'm planning to win this election. And I think Kalonzo should also start planning how to win the seat by calculating the numbers in advance. Let him not wait for magic to happen. Let him not wait for Raila supporters to just shift. That's the same way of saying that as a Chelsea fan, me who is a Chelsea fan and a Chelsea diehard, that our Chelsea is losing nowadays so much. Now I decide to switch to Manchester United because I feel Manchester United is doing better than us. That can never happen as long as I'm alive. So Kalonzo Musyoka should stop hoping that Raila Odinga supporters will just jump ship, because he has been supporting Raila since 2013. Ruto supported Raila when he needed him most, and he's supporting him now when he need him most. So we must not start imagining that these supporters are foolish people who will just be swayed by Raila. That also will apply. That will also apply to the succession politics of Luo Nyanza. Raila is not going to mention a leader who will succeed him and the people follow him blindly. No, that person will have to create himself, so that the Luos will like him and they will embrace him as their own. That's how a leader is made. That's how a king is made. A king will not be chosen using these old stuff or old tactics, lineage, and who is heir to the throne. There's no heir to the throne in politics of Kenya. In politics of Kenya, when someone dies, a replacement creates himself. So right now, even in the Rift Valley, I've seen Alfred Keter trying to create himself, but let me tell him that as long as the Kalenjins have a leader who is their kingpin and who is their political father, they will not listen to any other person who makes noise. They will lie to you that they are listening to you, but when it comes to elections, they will choose that person that who is their father. So for now, I think the Kambas are lacking a leader, and the Mount Kenya is also lacking a leader, and we must focus on building those two. If we can find leaders in those two regions, we are going to have a very competitive election in 2032. But 2027, it's gone.
Honorable Vincent is saying 2027 is gone, and if it is gone, the former president said that nowadays anaangalia tu hivi anaona kama wewe ni dereva umepewa gari unaendesha vizuri, lakini anasema gari inaenda vibaya. Vincent, you saying 2027 imeenda, hii imeenda ya 2027, so 2032 ndio sasa pale wanafaa waangalie, lakini former president anasema bado sana. Yeye anaangalia vitu lakini bado sana. Hebu tuone vile former president anasema.
Angalia dunia tu. Wengine unaangalia unashika kichwa unasema gaiwi ito Jehova. Wengine unajiuliza ni kulia, wengine unacheka. Lakini Kenya ni nyumbani tu. Tunaendelea, tunatakia wale wako mema. Lakini wakati nilikuwa kwa uongozi nilikuwa naambia watu kitu kimoja. Kama wewe ni kiongozi, kama wewe ndio umepatiwa steering wheel ya kuendesha, kama ni kaunti ya Nyandarua, kama ni constituency hii, kama ni nchi ya Kenya, pale popote, kama wewe ni kiongozi wa maana, kiongozi wa maana anashika steering wheel, anaangalia mbele. Sio kila saa kuangalia rear view ati ametoka wapi. Unaangalia mbele. Ukiwa mtu wa kuendesha ukiangalia rear view mirror, wewe ni mtu wa kupeleka gari katika one yako igira mutaro. Wageko ni murenda gutongoria bururi. Rora imbere mumenye kuria muratwara. Omwatira na ajuku na igenyo na maundu matari kuria mari. Hakuna pahali mnaenda, hakuna pahali mnapeleka nchi. Nchi inataka viongozi ambao wako na maono ya mbele, kwa sababu hiyo ndio itakuwa ya manufaa kutatua shida zile Wakenya wako nazo.
Wow.
I never take Uhuru seriously. I've never taken him seriously since 2017. So what he was trying to say that he's trying to justify himself as a better leader than William Ruto, and that is not what Kenyans are seeing, because it's taking a very different trajectory right now, and very soon Kenyans will start liking William Ruto. This is the post I made today, and I told people that the president asked us to tighten our belts in 2022 when he was being sworn in. He asked our Kenyans to tighten their belts so that we get out of this mess that we are in. And he had to make that unpopular decision so that we can have a better future. So there's new people took advantage of that and tried to sell a narrative that alidanganya mama mboga, alidanganya sijui mahasla. But today, if you read the magazine, the Business Daily, there's a tax policy that is being introduced in Parliament very soon that will give a relief to the low income earners in the near future, so that for those who sacrificed to make sure Kenya gets itself out of this mess that we got ourselves in during Uhuru's era, we are going to get ourselves out of that, and we are going to enjoy the fruits. So the low income earners are going to enjoy the fruits in the very, very near future. And I think in 2024, June, after the finance bill of 2024 has been passed, we are going to see a very different reaction from Kenyans, because there will be a lot of relief in terms of taxes that we are paying. So we're paying right now. There are going to be a lot of deductions, and there are going to be a lot of adjustments in terms of the taxes that we are paying right now. So Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to tell Kenyans that niliwaambia mchague nani, mkakataa, saa hii mnaumia. Mimi mnaona mimi siumii. He is speaking that proudly because he knows that he's a beneficiary of corruption and our taxes. So he is now telling Kenyans that now go eat yourselves. Like, unajua vile mtu anasemanga ni vile, I don't want to use that term. So right now, Kenyans are being told, being shown the middle finger by the guy we trusted with power for 10 years to better our lives. He is laughing at us for making a decision of kicking himself out and kicking him out and his puppet. So right now, Uhuru Kenyatta atulie bwana, atulie angoje angalie vile dunia itapelekwa. We have a very sober driver and we should give him time. And I know he's taking Kenya the right direction. We are starting to see the benefits. Right now, you can see where the dollar is at. The dollar is at 141. Even if Uhuru left it at 130 to 120 something, the dollar will go back and it will adjust itself to the shocks and according to the market, the market conditions that we are in. So Uhuru Kenyatta atulie, aenda alale huko Ijaweri, he has a lot of money in his bank accounts. Let him travel the world, let him retire in peace. Awache bana watu wengine, a new generation of leaders to run this country.
That is Honorable Vincent saying that former president atulie, apatie government time. Hata unapomsikiliza mfuasi wa Raila, hasa wale walio katika Jakaranda, wanasema hawatakuwa na tatizo la kuwasaidia Ruto juu ya Kalonzo. Hiyo ni comment yake, nataka ile kitu. Again he's saying Ruto is more likable. I find Uhuru arrogant at times and Ruto is very loyal, as we all have seen. Yeah, that is a comment from one of our followers. He's saying that our president is very loyal, and we all have seen that our president is very compatible when it comes to any citizen, and he can feature in every place. We have seen him.
I told you about the charming character of a politician. You know, when you are a politician, if you are not charming, if you are disgusting, when you are talking to people, you are arrogant, you are proud, Kenyans will hate you. But if you are charming, and even if you are a bad person, the people will love you. Sonko. Let me use this example of these leaders that we are told that never went to school. Sakaja, Sonko, Sudi. These people have managed to hold very, very senior political positions in this republic because they know how to speak to people. They know how to entertain our masses. They know how to move masses. They are not like Kalonzo, who wants to act like Jesus. And you know, Jesus was also some charming person according to the Bible, but he wasn't a liar. So let the politicians master the art of being charming and being funny and being entertaining, so that they master, they hold the people. But these people of Jacaranda that I usually listen to, I even heard them say it's easier to paint mtu muoga. So they have seen that character from Kalonzo, so they won't embrace him. They will rather embrace Ruto over this guy because they want someone who can defend them and die for them.
Yeah, someone who is radical, someone who is very strong, someone who is like a metal, someone who is like aluminium, someone who is like a lead, someone who is very hard to break. So that is all what some of people want. And that was nice because if you are good in politics, then you need to know how to capture the attention of the citizens. Common mwananchi want to know you in details, but again, common mwananchi want to know what you can offer to them, because if you are a good politician, then definitely they are going to know from your even presentation, how you present to them, how you talk to them. It is very important because people think that the common mwananchi, whenever they see them running up and down whenever we have political meetings, common mwananchi knows where he will cast the votes come when it is during an election, because they know this is the right guy and this is not the right guy. So politicians like William Samoei Ruto, they have the strategy to capture what it is in the hearts of the citizens, and that's why most of people during elections were going to cast, and they casted their votes to William Samoei Ruto, and he won. That's now why we have him as the president. But again, a lot of Kenyans are asking themselves one rhetorical questions: are we safe in the hands of William Samoei Ruto? But again, William Ruto said that give me time, I know what I'm doing. Then it is only by the matter of time that we're going to get the results, and the matter of time that we are going to get the fruit, because mangoes they don't ripe in 1 month. Whenever they start giving flowers, they always take time. And again, we need to give President William Ruto time so that the mangoes can get ripe. And again, mangoes here, it is the country development and the economy and all what it entails the local mwananchi. Good year is saying Ruto as
time is always the
yeah,
best
saying Ruto
judge.
Yeah.
Time is always the best judge that we can ever have. You can attest to that, because if you weren't taken to school and your parent be patient with you, you could not be hosting such a very big podcast right now. It's education and patience and time that has made you what you are right now. So if you can't give a leader time, how is he going to deliver his promises? Because when we're talking about the macroeconomics and the microeconomics, the macroeconomics are those that take time to be reflected at the base. Or everyone cannot feel the macroeconomics, but it's always a slow but poor way of managing the economy. But microeconomics are those things that you do that will affect the common man instantly. So I think if you give a leader time, and if a leader is someone who deserves time, and William Ruto has demonstrated to be someone that given time, I can do better than what I've done. We've seen that in the past 18 months, because when he promised us that we are going to be a production country, not an importing country, he meant it, and he worked tirelessly to make sure that we are a production country. Because when he was coming to office, you can remember there was a problem of uka, and there was a problem of maize. There was also a problem of oil. In fact, mafuta haikuwa, and Kenyans forget very fast, because we are blinded by stories that politicians and the media, our local medias, used to propagate. William Ruto came to power when Kenya was in a crisis. We didn't have dollars to import fuel. We didn't have fertilizer in Kenya. Fertilizer was going for 7,000. He became so patient and said that we are going to get ourselves out of this mess, and we are going to produce our own food. Right now, we have produced over let me say, last year we produced 44 million bags, and early January we produced around 50 something million bags of maize. So it means that we are out of the problems that we were facing about 2 years ago right now. The fuel is stabilizing itself, and Kenyans are getting used to the prices, because pia unafaa ujue that we are not in the past. Every day as we grow, things change. And you can remember in 2004, unga, or the gorogoro that was going for 30 shillings was not the same when we were fighting the post-election violence. That's the time the maize rose to Bamba 70. You can remember the name Bamba 70 that trended that time so much. So fuel at that time was 60 something shillings. I remember there's a time even fuel was 40 shillings, even 30 shillings per liter. So we cannot say that we will remain in 2005 or in 2010. When Uhuru was coming to power in 2017 again for the second term, the fuel was at 69 shillings. And I remember there's a photo of him somewhere being rained on that was showing that Uhuru, that the fuel was at 69.70 shillings. Right now, when Uhuru was exiting power, without subsidy, oil could be 179 shillings. So we cannot keep blaming that this leader who is coming now is going to do this leader who came after this is going to do this. We must also move with time. If time is moving towards the AI, we must go towards technology. If the world is moving towards Christianity, or is moving away from Christianity, we must move with the world. So let Kenyans also learn to move with time. That's why we are having a different kind of politician who is telling Kenyans we must pay our taxes so that we build roads for you. We must pay our taxes so that the markets that you sell your fruits will be built for you. The problem with Kenyans who are used to politicians promising them that when I get elected, I'm going to build this for you. They never told them the source of money. So right now the Kenyans have learned that kumbe sisi ndio tunajenga hizi vitu, sisi ndio tunafanya hii. This is the first time we are having a conversation in Kenya about the finance bill. This is the first time that Kenyans are having a discussion about the housing problem. This is the first time we are having a discussion about agriculture. We've never all had time to discuss about those things because we were based on tribal differences. I was focused on my Kisii, you were focused on your Kamba, the other guy was focused on the Luo. We never even realized that there's a time that we need to come together so that we can talk about agriculture, we can talk about taxes, we can talk about fuel. Right now, the president has come who wants everyone to be on board, who wants everybody to know that these things are not mine. I don't create the finance bill. I don't create the subsidy. I don't create the prices of fuel. These are things that are adjusted by the macroeconomics, and the world moves towards one direction. As a Kenyan, then we are not excluded from the world. We are part of the world. We must move towards where the world is taking us. So let's give everybody time. Even your governor, let's give him time. I know Simbarat is already showing us failure, but let's give him 3 more years so that we can see what is he going to do different in these 3 years that are coming. So let's give the president time. Let's give our leaders time. Let's watch them. Let's engage. Let's learn to participate in such kind of platforms like the finance bill that is going to come next. Again, it's going to have a lot of things that we did not see in our previous finance bill. Let's be there. Let's learn to attend these public participation things so that we can also learn as a people.
Yeah, wonderful. I get you, Honorable Vincent, and that was awesome that we give time, because everything now here matters with time. So time is everything, and it goes across any of things that need to be done. So someone is saying that is good. Is saying Ruto has the presence and personality, but Kalonzo is a bit blunt. That is a comment that is Kalonzo is a bit blunt. And again, as he's saying here, we Kenyans don't like someone with the personality of a fingernail. We need someone who can't be bullied by other countries. Yeah, Kenyans believe they want someone who is strong and someone who is very hard so that he can be engaged by other countries. And we have seen a lot of countries are considering William Samoei Ruto as one of a good president that has taken power in this country. And the relationship between William Ruto and other African countries is one of the best, because he has toured a lot of countries, and he always makes sure that the cooperation between those countries is up to maximum. And that is what Kenya's need. But again, that is a comment from one of our followers. Don't forget
I
that
agree with
this
him.
is.
I agree with him. Before you take us to maybe a break or stuff, let me comment on that. For years, we Africa has been viewed that we elect puppets, or some Western powers, or some Eastern or Northern powers. William Ruto is this kind of a leader who even the whites are getting a problem to understand him. They don't even understand how he operates, because one day he's in Israel, one day he's gone to Korea, the other day he's in China, he's in UK, he's in Germany, he's in France. The next time you see him in America. So it's becoming a problem for those people who want to parade him as a puppet of some country, because he's seen everywhere. He's seen with everyone. Every leader is interested in talking to Ruto. We've had, I think, so many presidents coming to Kenya, even those countries that have never been in Kenya, especially the Iran. Iran has, the last time the president of Iran was in Kenya is during Moi's tenure. This is the first time you are seeing the president of Iran in Kenya. The president of Pakistan. Today I saw the president congratulating, I think, the prime minister of the newly elected prime minister of, I don't know, Pakistan. So we need a leader who is also a face of Africa. We also need a person who has the guts and the balls to stand up against the white supremacists. This William Ruto has demonstrated to the world that Africans have educated their sons and daughters, and we can speak on our own, and we can defend ourselves. So this time around, I agree with Goodyear, because we have created a gem that is speaking on behalf of Africa, and a gem who is standing against the Western powers and standing against the Eastern powers, and showing that we can all be neutral and still get development from the World Bank, from the IMF, and from other powers. So for now, Kenyans should be proud of what we elected as president, because in Africa there is no president who matches what Ruto is. Because even in South Africa, Ramaphosa Ramaphosa cannot speak proudly to Russia, cannot speak against some other countries the way Kenya can speak against Russia and still speak against Ukraine, and speak against America and still speak against UK, because William Ruto believes in what he says. He believes in what he thinks is right. Sometimes I usually feel like those people that tell him that don't say a thing about Gaza, don't say a thing about Israel. That guy wakes up in the morning and starts condemning people because he believes that's the right thing to do, and that's what a leader should do. You must learn to make decisions and stick by them. I think we should enjoy that part of leadership from William Ruto.
Yeah, we need to enjoy. That is the comment from Honorable Vincent. He's saying we need to enjoy the leadership from William Samoei Ruto, the guy who was doing shoe shining as he started his career. He has the poor background, and again, he is the king of Asla. That is the term that went viral during the election campaign, and he captured the attention of Kenyans, and Kenyans always want that type of a leader. So I want to congratulate everyone as we pioneer towards the end of our show. It has been a full 3 hours, 10 minutes of African content when it comes to politics and other things. And I'm very glad to have Vincent Machoka here, Honorable. And thank you for your time. And here now, as we finalize, I want to welcome you so that you can give us your final comments when it comes to Africa. And again, you know, this is Africa TV, whereby we give you a platform to engage us. Your comment we read on air, and we share your ideas with our followers so that we can enlighten someone who is following Africa 24 either in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or in YouTube, wherever you're tuning, whether in East Africa or you're tuning from all over the world, then this is Africa, and we give you a platform to enjoy and interact with us. And to our loyal followers, good year. Ramis Yegon, you have been wonderful, and I salute you for this a wonderful contribution towards this show. And Honorable Vincent, your last word as we come towards the end of the show.
Okay, let me take this opportunity to thank our viewers from whichever platform they are watching from. And I also thank our brothers who today I have not seen here from the diaspora who are giving us massive support from outside the country. Let's watch Africa 24. Let's share our opinions. Welcome everybody on board so that we can engage. We can give you a chance to also air your views. And I want to thank you, Boniface, for hosting me tonight. I want to apologize to our viewers that love listening to me and those who love my ideas and my opinions. That last week I was a bit held up. I had a funeral and I had to prepare for that. And this week I am going to be fully available, even though today I was late by about an hour. Tomorrow I will be here in time so that I don't know where Leo went, so that we can also engage in matters that affect our politics in this country. And this platform is also helping us grow and learn how to debate and every day learn to mature up so that we can also educate the people in the village to be better and to know better than what they hear in our media. Because right now, our media cannot be trusted 100% with the information that they pass. Because the media is also becoming a tool for propaganda. And that's my opinion. I know Africa is going to bridge that gap of propaganda. In fact, we are going to be neutral. We are going to try and try to defend the policies that we feel are right, and we are going to castigate those that we feel like are wrong. So I want to wish you all those who are in Kenya who are going to sleep a good night. And I want to thank our viewers who are engaging in comments like Kudia and others. Keep engaging with us every day. Keep giving us ideas through your comments. Keep asking us questions, and we can try to clarify as much as possible. Here in Kisi, it's raining, and I know this is a good sign that I'm going to sleep, a very soundly sleep tonight. I want to wish you a very good night and keep subscribing to Afric 24. And I also wish to tell you that my social media platform, for those who want to know where to find me, you can use that name that I use on this platform of Afric 24. I use Honorable Vincent Machoka in all my platforms. And one day, maybe when we start sharing, I can share my number also so that we can keep sharing ideas so that when we come live, that matters, we can we can engage in private so that when we come here, we get facts right, we get our ideas right, and we keep informing our people who have lack to access, who lack access to information. I want to thank you and a very, very, very special night to you, Boniface, and our viewers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Vincent, and whoever was watching this show. A good year. Thank you so much. I salute you for always accompanying me since the start. And now it's almost 3 hours and a half minutes. And 3 hours, we have been giving content to all our followers, and we have been sharing a lot of content. And I'm very sure you have learned something, and we have enlightened you when it comes to politics that have happened in our country, Kenya, and the entire East Africa, because we focus with
And by the
East
way,
Africa.
Bonnie, I have a friend. I'm going to bring some friend on board so that he can also be part of these conversations. I'm trying to also bring him to the limelight. I'm trying to also mentor him. But he's a good guy. He's studying journalism. But I want him to also engage because he loves politics. I want to bring him on board so that we can also engage with him. He's also a good guy. He has very good ideas. I think from tomorrow I'll ask him to join me when we are debating so that he also gets a chance to air his views.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Vincent Machoka, for this wonderful opportunity you have given us your time, and we always appreciate. This is Afrique, and of course, I was your host today, Boniface Kimanzi, wherever you're watching, to our brothers in USA, UK, Middle East countries, whereby you have been following Afrique 24. Remember to always watch our videos, subscribe, like, comment, and share wherever in any platform, so that anyone who finds our content valuable to his life and adding a lot of knowledge to his life, then definitely they are going to come and the channel to Afrique 24. Thank you so much, and we meet here same time. We meet here tomorrow. That is same time, same place, and same time. We will always be here so that we can make sure that this Afrique 24 runs, and we are here anytime, because at every 10 p.m. East African time, always our show is scheduled. Make sure you have the date. Make a date with us every day from Monday to Sunday. And we have always shared in between the show that we have a lot of shows that happen in between, and you always got the content, because our shows are the best, and Afrique 24 gives you the best platform to enjoy and to make you get enlightened. And we wish you all the best, and let's meet here tomorrow, same place, same time. I was your host, Boniface Kimanzi. Good night and see you.